All right, welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome back to the Real Precious. Thank you guys so much for being here. Definitely hit that like button as you come in. Hit that like button as you come in. Before we start, I'm going to get the housekeeping out the way. Just to let you guys know, tonight is sponsored by jecreativehosting.com. So definitely hit them up if you're looking to start a new website. They can host a website for you. HCM22 is a discount code for you to get your website hosted by them. So definitely do that. Um, hit that like button, guys. We have a good show for you this evening. Before we start, I do want to say hello to my wonderful co-host, the actual King Smith. How are you, sir?
Good. I got a couple of grays up in the beard that's starting to pop, 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 and I'm happy about that, baby.
Okay, salt and pepper time. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, welcome welcome the Grays to the Real Precious. Okay, we appreciate you for showing up this evening. Tonight's going to be a good night, but I'm glad you're doing well, actual King Smith. Hank, how are you this evening, sir?
I am good, but you know what I'm about to go do? I put in the back chat, but I will be on cam shortly.
I know the
King,
nourishment. You
I,
got to
I,
get the nourishment. I know. I know.
well, that's right. But I know the real reason why King has them grays is because he's playing a team called WP34, and he's causing
Oh,
anxiety for him.
here we go. You got lucky. You got
Ooh.
lucky, but hey, I got another week to put some things up on that board.
Well, I'm still running the score up. I got a guy going tonight.
Yes, sir.
Mm. All right, Hank. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you. Mr. Sean, how are you this evening?
I am doing well, thank you. How are you? I'm putting on my king. My king. I have the grays already. I had the gray hoodie. I just figured it was.
I got the
I
Baldy.
the
Join the
ball.
club, player. Join the club.
All right, with the twinning. All right. Well, welcome. I'm sure more people will join us as we go forward. Tonight is a call-in show. So if you feeling up to it, you can join the panel. Okay. Tonight we have a couple of things that we're gonna go over. You know, Monday started out as mixed messages for me and the actual King Smith, and we have continued on with that, whether it be messages, whether it be videos that we're deciphering messages from. Before we do that, I do want to say hello to my wonderful chat. I'm not gonna leave y'all out. I'm not gonna leave y'all out. After I say hello to y'all, we're gonna get into these messages. So right off the bat, we got Crystal Light. Crystal Light. Y'all remember that drink? Crystal
Yeah,
Light?
Crystal Light.
Y'all remember that drink? I think my parents used to drink that drink. That was a drink that you drank when you know what I mean, was trying to watch your weight. You ain't want to have a lot of sugar, but you wanted to have a little tad bit. Precious, hear me out. I love Tim and his barbershop like space he holds for believers, which is his safe space for people to call in. I know everyone is reeled in by the 5 inches. Comment and context is key. We're gonna get into it, Crystal. We're gonna get into it. La Peef Network swung through and said, likes up, likes up. You guys definitely be sure to hit that like button. Smitty, I see you in the building. Thank you so much for being here. Quincy Q, I see you. Good evening, good people. Okay, respect to you all. Have an awesome show. I appreciate that. Tarika, thank you so much for being here. She says, everyone, please hit the like button as you come in. Definitely support the Cash App. I would definitely appreciate you guys. Quincy said, "Welcome to the club, player. Welcome to the Salt and Pepper Club." Okay, embrace the grace. Thank you so much for being here, love. Good evening, all. Salute to the chat. Jolie says, "Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for being here." Brett, I see you in the chat. Thank you so much for being here. He says, "Good evening, everyone. I got grays and glaucoma. Lord, we just gonna pray it away." Okay. Not grays and glaucoma. Ain't no way I'm gonna hold you down. Y'all remember that Chris Brown song? When Chris Brown was popping like that, you know, when we was really in our Chris Brown bag. Anyway, hello, I'm new. Hope all is well. I hope all is well with you as well. You brought me back to the throwback Chris Brown. Okay. I also see God happened to me is in the building. Hey
My
there,
boo
love.
thing.
Red lipstick vibes. I see you in the chat, love. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. All right, we're gonna get to it. So we have these messages that, you know, me and King, we be doing our Oscar nominated performances. But it's a lot of mixed messaging in these messages. Y'all know I'm blind. I got to get them up close and personal over here. Okay. But it's a lot of mixed messages in these messages. And we need y'all to help us unmix these messages. Okay. I'm going to put the messages up here on the stage. All right. So I believe I start this saga off. I guess I'm just wondering what your expectations are from a partner.
Like in terms of expectations from women?
Or men. I don't know how you swing.
Women. Definitely not men.
Okay, then yeah. What are your expectations from your girlfriend / wife or whatever?
Can I be honest about it? It might seem as outdated or something.
Yeah, of course. This is a judgment-free zone.
Honestly, I'm looking for a traditionally feminine woman. Someone who isn't going to mind being the child rearer and homemaker. Someone who is going to take care of her appearance and herself, and just all around is content to be a female in our relationship. I know that that's pretty anti-feminist or whatever, but it's just how I feel.
Okay. I don't think that's anti-feminist or outdated at all. To be honest, that's pretty similar to what I want too. Kind of my dream, if I'm being honest.
Really?
Yeah, I'd love to be able to focus on making my house a home, working on myself, and just be taken care of without having to stress about expenses or money.
What you mean?
Just that I love a traditional man who's going to cover my expenses and make sure I'm getting what I want. Someone who brings that kind of masculine energy.
So you looking for a guy who isn't going to mind buying you whatever you want and basically would just bankroll your whole life?
I don't know if I'd put it like that.
Oh, so you basically a gold digger user, basically.
More like someone who will take care of our family financially so I can take care of him and his kids, etc. No, I promise. How is that any different from you wanting your girlfriend / wife to take care of the home and your kids? It kind of feels like a double standard for you to call me a gold digger.
Look, it's not a double standard. It's different because the things I'm looking for, emotionally stable, takes care of herself, good with the kids, are inherently female traits. Good women naturally have that stuff. You just looking for some rich ninja who can buy you stuff. That's not naturally part of being a guy. It's totally different. I mean, especially because of how expensive life is in general these days. You think I'm going to be able to afford a $500,000 house on one salary just so that you can play dress up and not have to worry about a job? You expect to not contribute to the bills or the cost of living. Screw you. I knew that there was something wrong with you. No wonder you tried to humiliate me at the restaurant. I should have left your ass right then and there.
My guy, chill out. I never said I was looking for a rich guy or a $500,000 house or anything like that. Just that I want a guy who can take care of me, especially if I'm raising his kids. How can your dream woman be the homemaker and child rearer if she's also working full time to pay the bills? I have absolutely no issue with gender roles or division of labor in a relationship. But you're not looking for a traditional woman. You're looking for a maid, a nanny who can help you pay your bills.
Fuck you. Just say you were only interested in me for my money. Next time you match with some sucker, tell him up front so he doesn't waste his time with you.
I paid for last night, my dude. What do you mean interested in you for your money?
Shut the funk up. My comp SCI degree is going to do way more for me than your business will one ever will. Bitch. Now I know why you're getting a finance degree. Probably so you can scout out some rich guy and try to steal their money.
If you're going to curse me out and call me a gold digger because I want a traditional man, even though you want a traditional woman, tells me you're not the type of guy I'm looking for. Lose my number, but I hope you have a good life.
Now it's Friday at 1:20 and I'm horny. So I'm gonna say, hey, you up right now? And see
Scene.
that ended.
Oh my goodness. Not the hey you up right now.
Oh man.
A man will be a man. So what's going on here? What Sean, you there, Sean?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So what did you gather from these messages? Were they mixed messages? Were they right on point? What do you think?
Both. They're
Okay.
right on point because mixed messages is something that is happening frequently nowadays. People are, using taglines and verbiage to kind of disguise their superficial nature. I think they both had a little bit of superficial nature. Him with the traditional and wording is what he used. Her with the "oh, take care of me" wording, and I don't think either one of those apply for what we're talking about. Traditional one, we're going to get down to it. Let's start with her being a virgin. That's not happening in this day and age, primarily. So that nixes the whole concept of traditional woman, period. Then a traditional man, again, he is also out there gallivanting, looking for just a good time, like he did at the end of that comment. He's looking for a good time, so he ain't really about what he talking about. So yes, it is very mixed. It's very much so mixed signals, but it's so commonplace right now. This is why we have such horrible relationships.
Okay. So so she was asking if you're going to have me be the homemaker, mother of the kids, and you want me to work full time. How is that traditional?
Which is a fair question.
One, again, it's fair if we're using it conveniently, which she is. There's more than just childbearing or raising children or taking care of the household that is implied when we talk about traditional ways. And it depends on how traditional we're talking. Are we talking biblically traditional? Are we talking United States traditional? Are we talking cultural traditional in other places of the world? So it really is relevant, or subjective rather, depending on who you're asking, and that will identify the relevance of it. But no, we're not traditional. That whole idea and ideal of traditional is not what I'm sure she's describing or what he's describing.
Well,
Which
he says it might seem outdated. What did he say? It might seem
It
as
might
outdated or something.
he said it
So,
makes him was outdated. He said that it might be considered anti-feminist, right? Because he's probably stated this before and has heard this before.
but do you think that he's just saying that just to say it because he wants a woman to take care of him, but also wants her to work? And because he made a statement that actually made me chuckle. He goes, um, it's not a double standard. It's different because the things that I'm looking for, emotionally stable, takes care of herself, good with kids, are inherently female traits. However, we know that there are a lot of women that are not emotionally stable. She don't take care of herself. And she may not be good with kids, even if she bore them, right? But they're supposed to be inherently female traits. Good women naturally have that stuff, right? Then he says, you're looking for some rich guy who can buy you stuff. That's not naturally part of being a guy, in which I would agree with buying you stuff and a rich guy not being part of being, some guys. There are some guys who do that. But being a guy is providing, right? So it seems as though he wants to provide, but then wants to pull back when she gives her what she feels as though is traditional. So should we just my statement here is, should we just forget about traditional? No one should be asking for traditional anything in 2023 going into 2024.
Ding, 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 ding. I feel that way. I feel like traditional is just not genuine anymore. That word is so loosely used, and there's no real definitive definition of what it is or what it means. And you need to dive deeper into the definition of what the person means when they say traditional, similar to what they were trying to do. But I think they were just both off in two different definitions.
So what would be your definition of traditional?
I was just going to ask that.
My definition is that it's cliche right now. There is no traditional would be virgin woman meeting a man who wants to have a wife and create a family with that said virgin woman, wants to make her an honorable woman, and he has the honor of what marriage really means. And that's something that, like I said, traditionally it doesn't exist anymore. Hank, what up?
So, hey Hank, so did you see the Unk and when him and what's the guy he be on there, Ocho Cinco, right? They were talking about the actress that's on Insecure. I forget her name. She's an African woman and she's a virgin.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Unk pretty much was like, I don't want no virgin. I want a Ruby Rose or whoever he
said I want that he wanted. Yeah.
Yeah. So is a virgin really what y'all want? For real? Being honest?
No, I said we was defining traditional. That's what I was defining when I said virgin.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I said the word really don't matter right now, because the traditions that we speak of on both sides, we don't really honor that. We don't really have that in this day and age. So why are we speaking about traditional when the original concept of the idea doesn't really exist right now?
Hank, what are your thoughts?
About which part?
Well, did you hear the messages that we were reading back and forth?
I caught some of it. I'm on more about gender roles. Mm-hmm. I'm all for gender roles. So my lady is what I would consider the traditionalist, I guess. Well, at least for our age bracket, because ain't nobody no virgins here. Not at 48, 49. We not virgins, so yeah, them days are long gone. But anything else we would consider be traditional as far as our relationship. I don't do no inside cleaning work. I don't do none of that. She does that stuff. Mm-hmm. But I do everything else outside. Anything needs to be fixed, I do. We're about one pot. Mm-hmm. It's no his or hers or ours, our secret pot or word. No, it's we all together. So as far as stay at home, she's not like that. She would get bored out of her mind if she had to just stay home, be a stay home, housewife or whatever. yeah, that's just not her style. So I didn't have that was an issue for me. And especially when, her kids are pretty much grown. She got 2 in college, and then the other one was underage. She's 15, so she's pretty much self-sufficient. We just got to make sure she doesn't wreck the car. I don't know. I don't. Just looking at that dynamic, it sounds like that's what they both wanted, but then they both have to sacrifice certain things in order to get what they want. That's what it sounded like to me. Neither one of them want to sacrifice. It sounded like it was too hard for them to do it, but they want it, and I understand, but they're not willing to do the same for the other person. So,
yep, I think that guys today have an outdated image of what a traditional woman can be or should be. How I look at it is that you have one person who's there was a term that I heard when I was active the Air Force that made sense. A domestic engineer, basically the person that made sure that everything inside the house ran smooth, while they, as the traditional male, did the providing and things like that, right? They focus on the stuff outside the house, bringing in the money, security, providing, right? I think that guys today say, I'm looking at this economy and there's no way that I can afford a $500,000 home on my salary of, let's say, 95 grand and still have 2 kids without my spouse working as well, bringing in that additional income, but yet you still want her to be traditional Susie homemaker and be that domestic engineer inside of the house. It's not going to work that way.
Right.
It is not going to work that way. I think you have an uneven balance on the scales when you're trying to make that nuclear family work. I think that when you look at a traditional minded person that's looking for a traditional minded partner, you're trying to look at it from the nucleus of the family and how you can make that work. And I think it's not guys, I'm sorry, it's not ladies that don't understand it. I think it's guys that have the game fucked up.
Well, somebody said it in the chat, and I'm trying to find it. Someone said we're talking about traditional as if traditions don't change.
Yeah, see that part. Yep, whoever said that, that's you see what
Easy
I'm
Money
saying?
Jones says people talk about
There it is.
traditions like traditions don't change. And to be real with you, traditions do change, right? Because Big Mama is not around anymore for a lot of people. So traditions also can die off because nobody wants to pick up the baton of doing things like they did back in the day. Right? You guys put a 1 in the chat if you attend a family reunion every year or every few years with your family. Put a 2 in the chat if you don't, or if it died off, or you just don't go, or you just don't even know that side of the family. I don't know. But a lot of times we do have to change with the times. And I think that, with the economy, with the way prices change and raise, they're not going to go down. So it is hard to have a 1 income house. I mean, it is very difficult to have a 1 income house unless that man is working his ass off, and 9 times out of 10, he's probably not even home. Or it could be the other way around where, people are finding easier ways to make money nowadays. They're finding ways to be online and be able to make money, extra income and things like that. And so maybe he is available, but maybe you are raising children. You also, I think that women should work. Now, should you have a job that's stressing you out? Should you have a job where it's taking more attention away from the family? No, I don't think you should have any job like that. I don't think you should have a job where you stressed out, where it alters your attitude. But I do think that women have to work. There's no way around it unless that man has planned for you. And
Yeah.
even then, you can't plan too much if you want kids to come into the picture and everything else. So I see a lot of twos. I see
Yeah,
one. No, another one, not 1.5.
just for the record,
um,
been to a family reunion.
what'd you
Um,
say?
I said, just for the record, I've never been to a family reunion,
Mm.
either side of the family. So that's not a tradition in my family and hasn't been. And I think we all of the points that are being made are pretty relevant. I think it lends to what I was attempting to say is that that the definition of traditional can vary, and that's what we really get on the same page on. Because really, I think the tradition, as was described earlier, is just being considerate for one another. Once we become one, actually becoming one. And if your tradition is opposite that, some people do go into it. It's mine, and you got yours, and I got mine. I don't agree with it. Similar to what Hank said, I agree. This is one pot, but but identifying and communicating what that is to you moving forward, I think, is what lends to the success of relationships. And unfortunately, these two people were on two separate pages, and how you define traditional is up to you, because really women always worked. They weren't traditional jobs like we have now, but they always worked, whether it been outside and cooking, or in the field getting, picking some flower, what do you call it, gardening, and planting the fruits. And if we're going to go that far back, then if we're
I
going to
remember my grandmother telling me stories how they used to clean the white folks' home.
right, so
They would be staying, pretty much cleaners
exactly,
and
so
go home at night.
right, so they was working under the table during slavery, at post slavery, during you know uh segregation times. They were still working. So this myth about women don't work is just that, a myth, and no one's touching on that. Everybody glossing over it conveniently, women specifically.
Well, my mom worked for a bit and then she became a stay-at-home mom. But the thing with my parents were they never lived beyond their means. We lived in a townhouse. My mom was okay with what my father could afford. So it happens, you have stay-at-home moms. I mean, look at them all during the week at a certain time. The moms are in there with the strollers with the kids doing, stuff, the activities at the mall have or at the zoos or whatever. So places are filled with stay-at-home mothers. But the thing is, the modern day woman want more than she's willing to give, right? She wants more out of this man. She doesn't want to live in the townhouse and maybe sacrifice the weaves and nails or whatever for a certain season so they can advance to a bigger house or whatever the case may be, or save, whatever it is. The modern day woman wants way more than the man is willing to provide because he knows that she's not going to appreciate it. He knows that he's not going to get the same appreciation from her than a woman who is able to say, you know what, you're sacrificing, and as long as you're sacrificing, I'm gonna be right here with you, helping you out. I mean, we talked about it, I think, on La Pive, how women, they want all these things. They want all these things. Oh, do the women like gestures or do they like the man? Right. And the thing is, if you love the man, you'll get the gestures. If you love the man, that man will, because men are inherently providers and people who want to take care of other people. That's just how you guys are wired. But I think it goes over a lot of women's heads because they want all the material things, not realizing that if you just take care of the man and the children, if there are children, that you'll get the gestures, you'll get what you're needing for one. You may not get what you want, but you'll definitely get what you need. And if he gets what he needs, then he'll give you what you want. It's kind of, you got to use that femininity too, but you can't come in demanding things. But I think that that's the difference of today. Women don't know what living in their means is because they have everybody paying for their means. So they don't
Yes.
even know what it add up to be.
Yes.
They got this man paying for their $600 wig. They got this man paying for their nails. They got this man. He might pay for the rent. They don't even know what their cost analysis is, but because they keep picking a nigga. Pick a nigga. Like they keep picking one to pay for whatever they want. So they don't like I said, my mom worked for the post office for years. So she knew the bill. She knew what came in. She knew what went out. She knew, like, I just feel like today's women don't necessarily know that.
Ooh, and I'm glad you said that, because if any
That's
of us, we misogynistic, we're chauvinistic, controlling.
No, I mean it's the truth. You have women who want men to fly them out, and they, you just see it. I mean, it's not. If anyone thinks that's not the case, then they're living in delusional land.
Yep.
But that's the case. These women, they couldn't, if they took all the men away, they wouldn't be able to survive. They wouldn't be able to hold their heads above water. And that's why men need to stop doing what they're doing. That's why I say, like, if you don't like the man for the man, stop using him. And men need to, like, look, it's a lot of coochie out there. I don't know what you holding on to that one for. I'm just saying. I'm just saying, because that one's a bill. That one is costing you a lot.
And look, guys also need to tighten up ship too, because what this fool did on these text messages after going through all that, they had that back and forth. He cussed her out. After all of that, I'm telling you, you have to read between the context, because that was time stamped at 1:22 a.m. to where he ended that with, "You up right now?"
I mean, come on. Ain't nothing open at that time of night. But what they say? Gas station and legs or something like that?
The most important thing is the legs.
But it's like, ain't no regard. There is no, oh, I apologize. Maybe I overreacted earlier. It's, hey, you up right now. Mind you, she said that she paid for the dinner or the date or whatever they did earlier in the day. So if the woman was really a gold digger, she would have had him pay. And honestly, he threw traditional or outdated out there. So I think she kind of just tested him at his word. And when he couldn't be that traditional man that he was imposing her to be as a traditional woman, he got really emotional. He started cursing her out. F you. I knew you, da 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 da. Like, sir, you're the one who he led with that. When men lead a certain way and then women follow, you can't get mad that she followed you that way. That's where you led.
Bingo.
You led her that way. You led her to thinking like, hey, this is what I want. Are you down for it? And then when she started to break down, what it meant to her, it's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Now you a gold digger.
I mean, in fairness, she did leave superficial lines when she first said it. I need somebody who's able to take care of me, was her first portion of that statement, which
She did say,
implies that it's an underlying sentiment that is pretty popular, that there's superficial people out here. And I won't just say women, because there are a lot of superficial men who just want to who do have the means and are just basically with the means getting more coochie. That's what they're using their means for. They ain't thinking about nothing traditional. They thinking about, all right, it's transactional. That's what we need to change it to, transactional, because that's what people really are looking for.
Now, the part that made me think that this is why this got flipped is if you take a look at this top message here and then the next one, there was a lot of working on myself, just being taken care of without having to stress about money or expenses. Who's going to cover my expenses and make sure I'm getting what I want. I think where she lost him, which caused this dude to call her a gold digger, was you didn't hear anything about, we or like my family. You know, it seemed that she was more focused on herself, and that's where I think she lost him at, which caused him to then call her a gold digger and all of that stuff. Where this guy is wrong, and where I'll also advise men on is don't go into a sign language type of argument between anybody, right? You state your program, and if you think that that person isn't about your program, bounce. All right. You don't have to, talk about her comp T or his comp SCI and everything like that. Hey, look, you asked, she asked, you stated, if it don't align, fly away. Plain and simple.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed. And that was
I can see how, she definitely did say those words. She did clarify when she said more like someone who will take care of our family financially, so I can take care of him and his kids, etc. So I think
with that.
I think well, no, she didn't lead with that. But there
right.
was
So it wasn't
clarity.
clarification. It was
No, but
backpedaling.
Yeah, I think she backpedaled after he said, so a gold digger, basically. Then I think she backpedaled.
well,
But
no, if someone asks if you're a gold digger and you're saying no, that's not what I mean. I mean someone who's going to take care of the family financially, so I can take care of him. And it at this point, she's not using the my wording anymore. So she could have looked at it like, oh snap, he probably really do think that I'm a gold digger, but let him know the way that I am meaning this, because these are text messages. So it did come off like my, I need you to take care of me. I need you to take care of me type of thing. And then when he said, oh, so you're basically like a gold digger, she's like, no, just someone who would take care of the family financially so I can take care of him and the children, which I thought she said that in the beginning too, about it being traditional, and she was looking for the same thing. But even still, a man, if that can get you out of your frame as a man, and you can disrespect her, and y'all are just having this conversation, y'all are not even in it, right? These y'all are just talking about the things that you want, and you can get out of your frame and get disrespectful like that. Oh, F you, I knew you would be like this. I knew there was something wrong with you. If you could do all of that, a lot of women probably would back up and be like, I don't know if I want to be with this crazy man. So, even with her saying what she meant, it was still F you this, F like, and she's like, guy, chill, like, just chill out. I where does that come from? Where does that all of that emotion come from?
Well, to your point, they both were basically disguising their true sentiments.
Mhm.
And it came out very clearly, and they both tried to backpedal, and they both tried to say, no, that's not what meant him with, I want this traditional stuff. He was full of it.
It's me. Sorry, my camera's just went out work. I'll be on it for a minute. Just want to let you know it's me behind you.
Gotcha.
So yeah, what's up, hey?
How you doing?
Oh, good. So they both were,
But there's no reason, Sean, I don't care what you say, there's no reason for a man to say fuck you to a woman in a text message because y'all are talking about traditional roles.
What I was gonna say is I agree, but you using the word man loosely. He's showing he's not a man. Clearly. And that's my point. He ain't a man. He's a probably a grown male, but he's not lending any traditional definitions or characteristics of a man.
Well, I guess he can't be a traditional one at it either, huh? If he ain't a man, he definitely ain't a traditional man.
Absolutely.
I just got to clip Precious's face right at that part. Oh, that was hilarious. My bad.
I'm just saying, like, he just got really emotional, and it's like, it's just a conversation. And then for him to come back at 1 something in the morning to say, are you up, or that part to me was like, what type of game are you playing right now? Like stuff like that in my book, those who know me, you be blocked. You would never to return. I would never talk to you again. Never. Because for what? But we're gonna move on. Arpain, is he there? No, he dropped down again. I think he dropped down again. All right, so we're gonna move on to this next clip. Because this man was very assertive. You have two men and a woman, a girlfriend and a boyfriend, and a best friend.
Friends for a long time. So you're her boyfriend and I'm her best friend. And I feel like until you put a ring on it and you play her husband and her best friend, I'm going to be her best friend. That's to be here and be supportive.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. I'm to the point where you just say, okay.
No, see,
And-
listen to me. You at the point where you just going to say, okay. So he has laid down the law in your relationship. He says until you put a ring on it, he going to be here.
And I don't feel like that's his place to even say that.
You know what?
And
I didn't come here to go back and forth and play the blame game.
We're not going to play the blame game.
I came here to come to a compromise. I'm open to any ideas. If they want to
Okay, cool. What you want to happen?
Okay. At the end of the day, what I want to happen is,
All right, so that's the end of that clip. I did watch the whole clip. I did watch. I had to go watch it because I'm like, what is happening here? What is going on? But before I tell y'all what happens in the whole clip, what do you guys think about that short clip that we just watched?
Yeah, that was pitiful. That sounded like some Sean shit right there.
I knew you was going there with it.
That shit Sean, dude. And that man should lay his hands on that other dude's throat right that very moment, talking about you need to be this and this and this in your relationship. I put a ring on it. Now he's dictating on what he needs to do in a relationship with his woman. Yeah, why this dude shouldn't be in the picture. Why is he even in the picture? I don't give a damn how long he know him. That's some bullshit. There's no way this man gonna sit there and get in the picture and then dictate on how I should move. We have no relationship at all, dog, and you coming and doing this? Oh, hell no, man. Hell no.
Okay, so before anyone else goes, he's in the picture because he's the godfather of two of her children.
I don't give a damn.
He's in the picture because she
Godfather
allowed
of
him
two of
in
her
the picture.
kids. So where's the husband? She ain't got no ex-husband, or she never been married before? She just a baby mama?
He ain't got
He in the picture.
but she's in
He
the
might be
picture.
the father. The way he talking like he is the baby daddy.
He in the picture because he smashed it.
Hey,
Exactly.
yeah. He might be the father of one of them kids.
He smashing what? Her?
I wouldn't doubt it. He probably slipped through her.
I would. That
Hey,
red
look.
dude is not smashing her.
Look her. Look, he called on one of them lonely nights.
Did you think he was straight? Do you guys think he's
He might be gay. He do look a little gay. Yeah.
Y'all keep letting that soft talk fool y'all.
Y'all ain't
Them dudes be in there with them
let's
women.
not act like some of these dudes don't be crossing over.
the crossover? Mm.
Wow.
He might have hit it with the Allen Iverson. Shout out to Philly.
Oh, not the crossover. Okay.
That's
He
well,
he
but
did
hey,
play
I
for
agree
Philly.
with
They
Kenneth,
tried.
Trey, Arpain.
Hello. How you doing?
Welcome, guys. I'm sorry. Who was going to go next? Was that Kenneth?
For me, the bottom line is you shouldn't allow anyone outside of that relationship to dictate how that relationship goes. The moment that you do that, that shit is done. It's a wrap. It doesn't matter whether it's a marriage or not, because he tried to have the stipulation that, you know, until you put a ring on it and be her husband, I'm gonna be this and that. No, that is not how that works. And the moment that he allowed it, he lost the respect of his significant other.
So
it shouldn't have to get to the simp God show Steve Harvey for that
So
to
let
occur.
me ask you a question though, King. Everybody, the men on the panel, when does the guy turn around and look at his girl and say, listen, you know what? I'm hearing this bullshit and you're sitting there. You're either going to make a choice between this asshole with me right now or I'm leaving.
Well, she already did that. That's the point that people are missing. She already made, for him to be able to have that position or even have that conversation, she's already has laid down a line about who she values and what she values.
And he's still there? And I missed that. So, and he's still there?
No, I'm not saying it directly. Indirectly, for that man to even be speaking as a Sean, as Hank said, she allowed that.
No, but you're missing my point, okay? I want her to expressly say it one last time, either this dude or me. Give me an answer. I don't know, no expression. Let me tell you, if she said, well, I'm keeping my friend, then you get up and you're supposed to leave.
And I agree, but what I'm saying is at those points of what we were just looking at, that's already been established.
No,
you know about him?
No, you are still implying. I want her
I'm not implying. The guy who's the boyfriend knows about the other guy. Why does he know about the other guy? Because the girl
I'm hearing you, Sean, but I want her for once and for all to say that shit out loud. No implication. I know why you're here, and I agree with you. I hear that. He should have been gone. But I'm saying I want to give her this. Just tell me. I want her to hear. I want to hear out of her lips that what you're feeling is real. I'm not giving this guy up, and you're only here because I don't know.
Did you not hear what Sean said? Sean's saying this because he know he experienced this shit because he lived this shit. So just believe what Sean's saying.
Okay.
You know, man, with a grain of salt will put himself on public TV for embarrassment. You got to know your worth first. I'm not going there begging for nothing. That's a whole hot mess from the beginning to that point right there, where you got someone else governing your household.
Oh my God.
There's no way. That's a Maury show. He should have got up and ran down that aisle and did the whole drama, tumbling in the whole nine. What are you doing?
So just to add more context to this, because like I said, I had to go watch the entire thing. So it seems as though this guy who was her best friend would crash their dates. He had a key to their home.
Okay.
And long story short, the girlfriend knows that the best friend is the way that he is, and she knows that the boyfriend is this meek, soft soul who is not going to put his foot down. And long story short, Steve Harvey had to show him how it was done, because Steve Harvey kept saying to him, tell him what you want to happen. And the guy kept on saying, can you please stop doing X, Y, and Z? Can you please stop doing? And Steve Harvey is like, what do you mean, can you please? So Steve Harvey had to have him get up out his seat, and Steve Harvey sat down and pretty much said, hey, look, you're going to have to give me my key back. Stop coming on date. Like pretty much being that assertive man that should have been told this guy a long time ago. Like, I don't know what you think you're doing, but that's not happening here anymore. But I just don't know how long the relationship is going to last, because with a man like that, it's almost like she's walking all over him along with the best friend. Now, the best friend, he did hand over the key at he did seem as though he was being understanding. I think he's you can tell he's a show guy. Like he's with the antics, right? So, he's like, what I can do is I can give you back the key. And he did start by giving him back the key. But I think this was all for the show. What I thought was real was the boyfriend and his temperament and the way that he carries himself. And unfortunately, he just looked bad on the show. However, there are men like that walking around who are not assertive, who do not put their foot down and what's supposed to happen in their household, because he said he wants to marry this woman.
You being nice, Precious.
Man, he'd be better off leaving
the
that
father of her kid.
He'd be better off leaving her. I wouldn't. There's no way. Why would you? She has no respect for you, dog. She's walking all over you, allowing this man to do this. She should have been the first one to sit there and say something. No, I'm in a relationship now. We can't have it. So the precedence wasn't set right there. I bet them kids are running over his punk ass too. I bet they are walking all over his ass. He has no authority in that goddamn house. He may not marry that heifer. I wouldn't, man. I would put a ring for what? She gonna drive you crazy.
You can make a safe assumption that he doesn't have a direct male influence within his like close circle either, because somebody could have been pulled him aside and directed him or guided him, mentored him on what he needed to do, not publicly like that on the show. What Steve said, I actually agree with how he handled trying to guide him in what to do, but that relationship's already done. Like the foundation's trash, it's weak, it's crumbled. He needs to get out of that relationship, get a little bit additional guidance from a strong male presence, and then re-engage with somebody else.
But I bet somebody did say something to him, but he's so in love because that cat's so good. He turned it away. He don't want to hear information. That's why he stayed long enough to even if y'all call that dude sweet or whatever, he allowed this sweet dude to talk crazy to him. And he didn't even bow his back or stand up or say nothing. Couldn't get no bass in his goddamn voice. It just ain't in him. So good kitty, he sprung off of that. He don't want to leave it. Probably ain't got nothing good in his whole life. So now he's getting some decent shit. She got 2 kids, probably about 2 different baby daddy. And now she throwing it to him on a regular. He ain't used to that. Now he like, man, fuck y'all. I'm getting some ass every goddamn day. I'm keep her. I'm gonna deal with her. I'm gonna keep her. Hell no. Get out.
A lot of men ain't got your backbone, Hank.
I mean, she already got 2 kids. They not by him. If he's not assertive, I just couldn't see him in the bedroom. I'm just being honest. I just couldn't see. I just couldn't see that.
2 kids imply one thing: that she's having sex.
No, those are not his kids.
I know.
She's having sex, right? But I couldn't see the boyfriend in the bedroom with her. Is what I'm saying, Sean.
No, I get it. But I'm saying I can't, because basically she's ruling everything. So she's ruling the bedroom.
She ain't giving that guy no ass, man. I'm telling you. She's
what was I gonna say? So what I see in this guy, I remember when what's his name? I'm drawing a blank. He said that he became a man when Sir Hell Speaks. Charge it to my heart. I mean, charge it to my mind, Sir Hell, not my heart. Sir Hell Speaks. We had a show a months ago, and he talked about when he first became a man, when he knew he was a man, right? He said that he stopped people pleasing and knew that he had to take his life into his own hands and he was responsible and things like that. That's what I see with this guy. He seems like he's a people pleaser, because when Steve first said, or when the best friend had first said what he said, he was just like, okay. That's a people pleasing response. Okay. He doesn't do well with confrontation. Like the actual King Smith said, he doesn't have any males in his life. He sounds like he was raised with his mom or aunts or grandmothers who were nurturing, who were a little bit softer. They may have raised their voice. They may have been boisterous, but he probably was the one to cower away from it or just do exactly what they said. Very people pleasing. So that's why I don't see. I can see him probably buying her a lot of things. I can see him probably spending a lot of money on her, but I just don't see that their bedroom life is woohoo. You know, I don't see that.
See, we all don't want to say this. You know, she got something sweet, and she's controlling that whole situation, and she not trying to let that go. No borders expressed. Your friend can't have keys to no house if I'm your man. I'm already taking on the responsibility of your 2 kids. Because no matter what, you with the woman and she come with baggage, you gotta help her. You gotta help if you're part of that household. It's so many points that shows that you use the submissive one in the whole relationship. And that passive and being passive, that's only gonna get you hurt in the long run. So it's safe to imply that the friend might be dipping in that honey pot. He ain't gonna say nothing. What are you gonna shoot? Go outside and have 5 minutes with me? No. You could tell by somebody's demeanor if you're a bully or not in a situation, how somebody carry themselves. I done read the room. You're not that guy. That's why I'm gonna ask for keys. That's why I'm gonna be up in there when I feel like it. What you gonna do? And if your woman respects you, even if you're passive, she's gonna set boundaries because she found something special within you. You don't have to be no brute. There's some tender lover baby face guys that make stuff work. God bless them. But that whole situation there, if you take your time and look at it, he in a mess and probably don't know how to get out of it.
It's a good perspective. I mean, he doesn't seem like what does he get out of? I just
Well, if he's
she's definitely milking that.
If he's rainbow, then he gets a beard out of it, right? He makes him look, makes him look like he actually straight. If
A
he's
beard?
not, yeah, a beard. You don't know what that is, Precious?
Like all of us men on this panel mostly have.
So
He gets a beard out of it. Was he going to grow a beard?
No, that's not what I meant.
Go ahead, Trey. You might as well
Someone that makes him appear as though he's a straight man when in actuality he's gay.
That's called a beard?
So if he isn't straight, she gives him that, right? She gives him the credibility that he's a heterosexual male when in actuality he's not. Now, if he is a homosexual, if he is heterosexual, then it's very clear that he has the same problem that many young men have today, which is they don't know how to vet women. They don't know how to look at women and say, this woman is an immediate no for these reasons. And particularly those reasons typically start with her physical appearance. Most of the time, most women are disqualified just purely by their appearance. And when you get past that, then there's other markers and precursors that should disqualify a woman. Women disqualify men off of anything. Your shoes, you bald, I don't like your beard is patchy. They got all kinds of reasons to disqualify you. But for whatever reason, us as men, we don't have these same disqualifiers. Her being a single mom, having 2 kids by different, and there's a lot of reasons that this should have never happened. But yet here we are. And now we're trying to figure out why this man is being treated the way he's been treated was because he could never say no from the beginning. He couldn't say no. Foundation, there was never any foundation because he should have never been there in the first place. And let me tell you something. You are far up Schitt's Creek if Steve Harvey's the guy that's talking the sense. You are so far up that creek. It is bad. If Steve Harvey's the one sitting down and injecting masculinity into the conversation. Because we know he wears a cape permanently. He wears a cape for women. So that's how you know that there's a lot going on here. And what we really, really have got to start to harp on this, especially with these younger guys, is some of these women, gentlemen, young guys, they're already disqualified. From jump, they already disqualified. And you got to see that, assess it, and then act accordingly.
You know, Precious gave us a context clue already. First of all, I don't think the guy's really getting that much because I can't see how she could even be excited to be with him. You know, and he might be a good provider, something like that, that takes care of the fact that whatever need that she has, she's using him for. She might have gave him a taste, or maybe he got a chance to put a mirror up to it and look at it a couple of times, But he ain't, she ain't knocking. He ain't knocking that down. He's just not. You could just tell, just by the fact that he's probably asking, can we do it tonight, baby? No,
right? It's like
Whoa.
I just don't see any masculinity.
That's what I'm getting my
The question, she may be actually having sex with him. Now listen, this is 2023. You guys need to understand something. There's a lot of men out here that are out here getting pegged, and all kinds of stuff is going on. They may be having sex, but it's not traditional in the sense that we're thinking of how it is.
I know some people who do some things, so I know what you mean, Trey.
What did I come into?
He might like that Amazon position put on him.
OG got
Did
me
he do it?
It's wild. OG got me thinking. Would he write a little note, put it on her side of the bed if he wants some?
With a little please sign or some shit like that. Oh my God!
Hit her with one of them airdrop messages real quick.
I just,
he's in a
know.
bad way. And you know what? The thing about it is, you can just tell that he doesn't see the way out. He doesn't see a way out. Of how to recapture anything. Because I really think it's already too late.
Mm-hmm.
Because just some guys, like my man Hank up there, would have grabbed that little guy across the table and probably assaulted him. Talking to me like that.
Allegedly.
You grab that guy and say, "What you say?" And Steve Harvey, no, not on my set. And the guy be bleeding and everything.
Hank probably would have grabbed Steve Harvey and threw him at the little guy.
But what's funny is Steve Harvey went to go walk around the best friend, right? And the best friend jumped, like Steve Harvey was about to put his hands on him. So he knew that if it was somebody bigger and more masculine, he wouldn't be able. That's why I don't think that guy is straight. He could be. Forgive me if you are, but I didn't think that he was straight just based upon that, because he flinched. Like Steve Harvey was about to hit him.
Damn.
That's where you saw his weakness. That's where you kind of saw his softness from, contrast from the boyfriends. It was just a different type, So I just think that because a lot of homosexual men are just very flamboyant, and they have this confidence to them that you can't tell them nothing, So even if he did try to do something, they had been childhood friends. They grew up in school together and things up. So even if they did mess around at some point or whatever, to make your kids his godchildren, to me, says that he probably rolls for the other team.
Who said that he was the
he's
one
not
that
married? What'd you say?
Just on short, that whole thing's a mess. If Steve Harvey wanted to do some due diligence, he'd tell him right then and there, cut ties.
Yeah.
Cut ties and reevaluate what you want in your life. You ain't got to be the hardest dude, but you got to put standards in your life, non-negotiable.
Mm-hmm.
You can't have nobody dragging you around, you being disrespected, no borders in a place where you rest your head. Make it make sense. You don't have to be 10 feet tall.
He tried
to knock somebody upside they coconut a couple of times and let it be known. Or you got to take a couple lumps. But we got to do this every day until order is restored.
That's the thing. Steve Harvey tried to tell him, but one little session with Steve Harvey ain't gonna do it. It's not gonna do it.
So Steve Harvey
need to get roughed up or something.
Steve Harvey off of him being on that show. If you got any love for that brother, you pull him to the side and say, we're gonna talk a little bit more. I done made my paper off for you, embarrassing you in front of millions. We gonna put down that 90-day rule bull crap book that I done hustled to the black community, and we gonna figure something out. Put you in a halfway house or something.
Mr. He said, what you got on this?
What's popping, y'all? Nah, the fellas did good, man. Shout out to everybody. Thanks for having me, Presh. What up, King? Shout out to Hink. Shout out to Shauno, Trey, R. Payne, and my brother Kenneth. They did great on this one, man. I'm just happy to be here.
All right, all right.
Shout out to you.
So we're gonna move on to the next clip. Kim Zolciak. Do you guys know that name? Kim Zolciak?
Big white lady. I mean black.
Yes. White lady from Real Housewives.
Mrs.
Yes.
Potato Head.
Oh God.
I'm black. I identify. That one. Yeah.
She was on the Real Housewives of Atlanta, I believe, because she was on there with Nene and them back in the day when it first came on. Don't be tardy for the party or something like that. That was her song. Well, her and her husband got into a heated argument. The cops were called, and so this is footage of her husband and the cop going back and forth. But I wanted to play this on the men's panel because, in my opinion, this man seems very distraught, and you don't really get to see men open up or talk about or be expressive about what's going on in their life. And it seemed to me, just from looking at it, I don't know all the details, I don't know their life. His life is in shambles. So I want you guys to watch and then give your critique on what's going on.
This is narcissistic behavior. I'm not doing this.
I'm just trying to figure out what the
There's nothing to do. You shouldn't even be here. Who called you?
Your kids.
Who? What kid?
You have kids? I don't know. Whoever's in the house.
We've been outside this whole time.
What was the argument about?
Our life. Our life.
Okay,
and it's
so
fucking destroyed.
Why is it getting so heated?
Because our life is destroyed. What don't you understand? There's no money. There's no house. We're getting divorced one day and we're not the next.
Okay.
She's fucking other men. What do you want?
Just calm down.
Calm down, but I don't have a fucking life. I don't have somebody who won't fucking listen to me.
Calm down.
Oh, calm down.
Hey, Precious, you're on mute. But to throw some context, you mentioned her name, and I don't know who she is, but I do know who he is. That guy is a former NFL linebacker, about 6'4", 250, 260 of hard-hitting machine, played outside linebacker for, I want to say he was drafted by the Falcons.
Troy is his first name?
Croy. Yep, Croy Bierman, I believe is how you say his last name. You know,
Bierman.
And here you have a guy that played the pinnacle of a professional masculine sport, losing his shit over his, you can safely say, soon to be ex-wife, and basically got put outside of his frame completely by her mouth, her attitude, apparently cheating on him just based off of what he said. And to me, I find that fascinating that he can allow somebody to fuck up his life that bad. You know, when this is a guy that the average dude really wouldn't want to have problems with.
So, King, let me ask you, I mean, if you don't mind, Precious, listen, well, women are always, the man's Achilles heel. I mean, they just are. Not every man is going to be like that, but if you find a man like that, it's not uncommon to see a woman behind that. If it was a dude pissing him off like that, he would have just beat his ass. So what I'm trying to say is, and then the cop who was there said the absolute wrong word. Never tell a guy that irate to calm down. Just say, yo, bro, because just the words calm down, when this guy don't want to calm down, you use some different kind of psychology. That's what I'm thinking. But who else can get a man in that kind of state but a woman? I mean, who else? You know what I'm saying? And it's the man who can keep his calm when your woman does something like that to you. And that's your only way through it. Because once you get to that level, you're not thinking straight no more. Even if he had a way out, he can't think about it. He's just, I love this woman. I talked about this before. And Trey, we were just on there. Men are the gatekeepers to their family, and he let her in. He's accountable for letting a woman like that in. Out of all the women he couldn't find, he didn't see no signs, none. So
being on that show was sign number one.
Well, average NFL playing in the NFL for average player is 5 years roughly, right?
Right.
This story is not new. You can count them on 10 fingers and 10 toes. Those women that have access to those rooms and those players, they put on a particular face because they know the bag is there. So their behavior is a certain type of way. He wasn't discerning enough to see that woman through. He didn't blow through all that money by himself. So he has to eat some of that blame because that is what he picked. And when that money run out, most of those women that be in that room's the first one to be at the hotel when the bus pull up and stuff like that. And this is I know because I have family that's in sports. They're there, and they're there to be top choice to these men and go through it in hopes of being cleaved by these men. And when that money run out because they stoop and don't know how to put their stuff financially in order and be able to discern whether this woman is the work or something worth working with, these situations is commonplace. Let's not act like this is not the first story that we heard. Something went bad, fight broke out, somebody broke. Look at the Joe Smith. That's a clear and concrete example.
Wow. And what's interesting about what you just said and this situation is that he looked like to me at that point where he's used to being able to hit somebody when he gets frustrated, and he could not do that. And what I mean is not man to man, but football, you can take out your aggressions when you get frustrated. And at that point, it looked like he wanted a place to take out his aggressions, but didn't have no outlet. And to Payne's point, definitely a woman can trigger that within us. But he just looked like he didn't have no outlet whatsoever. And he was looking like if he was on a field right now, somebody be hurt.
He said he ain't had nobody to listen to him. I think the cop was the only person he probably could get that out to.
And the cop didn't even do a good job of de-escalating that man from off that ledge.
Nah, that was a piss poor job.
Well, when I saw
Trey, how would you have handled that, Trey? Did you use that thing calm down? Would you have said that?
Well, you have to understand there's certain words that you use for your own legal purposes. So if this would have got out of control, the first thing they would have asked you is, did you instruct him to calm down? So him telling them to calm down has less to do with that. De-escalating has more to do with saving the officer. So he's giving them instruction to, hey, one of the words they always told us not to use was don't say relax. Don't say relax. Don't say relax. But you have to say something in the effort to get them to understand that I'm not here to make it worse than what it already is. But here's the thing. Having been on them type of situations, I used to work uptown DC with a bunch of senators and congressmen and these types of scenarios will happen. These are rich, powerful people. They get to this level, ain't shit you can say to them anyway. There's nothing you're going to be able to say to them that's going to get him to calm down. As somebody said earlier, there's only two things that can get a man this irate: a woman and losing money. That's it. There's only two things that can get a man this crazy. He done lost all his money, and a woman. Right? This man made $14 million over his career. We can already cut that in half with taxes and everything else. So he's already down to $7 million immediately already. She has a extravagant lifestyle. I remember one episode she went to go buy a Escalade and she wrote a check for 60 some odd grand right then and there. And she has an extravagant lifestyle. She has to keep up appearances because she's not an attractive woman. She's older than him. She's 7 years older than him to begin with. There's a lot wrong here. But at the end of the day, I am a firm believer in how you got him is how you're going to lose him. He was a known NFL player down in Atlanta. Like people knew who he was because he's got a a specific name. His name is different. Croy is a different name, right? So he has a different name. What I've realized in these types of situations, when you're dealing with men that feel as though a woman has basically taken everything from him, you have to just give him the space and just let him get it out. I've let guys kick my cruiser. Just get it out, bro. Get it out, because there's nothing I'm going to say that's going to calm you down. So just scream, curse. They want to punch something. They want to do something, because they're not going to be able to get it out. And somebody said it earlier, the officers don't even want to listen to him. Sometimes you are the only person that's going to listen to him. Sometimes you are the only person who's ever listened to him. And so one of the things I wish that the officer would have said, though, was, hey, I'm here to listen to you. Go ahead, get it out. If he would have said that, I may have calmed him down a little bit. But at that point, you really can't. And unfortunately, this is a story of a lot of these athletes and entertainers, that the women are the Achilles heel. The women are the one that bring them down. If you look at the statistics, a lot of them go bankrupt 3-4 years after they're retired playing, because they didn't plan for it. They didn't plan for not having, $300,000, $400,000 coming in a week, because that's what they'll make over the course of an NFL season. They get paid during the season. A lot of people don't know that. They get paid during the season, not during the course of the year. So that time that they're not playing, they're not getting any checks. So he's used to getting $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 a week when he's playing, and then that dries up, and the retirement is crap. So I feel bad for the guy, but again, that's the bed you made. You married her.
I'm in 100% agreement, but that football player that's close to me, they can have their money dispersed like game check monthly, annually, and such like that. But the biggest thing that they get when they come in the league, they do get a financial class where you see probably like 1 or 2 of them in there, and the rest guys are sleeping. 2 are paying attention. And then how many guys implement a game plan for success? They could care less. And then these situations happen. Then they have carte blanche of things where they could put a financial game plan of success in place, and they don't. Then you go and pick one of these women, and you tell me there's nowhere in the world he could have saw that. She's eating more. I'm eating her expenses. I'm paying the bill for all her bad choices. When does it stop? When do I take back the credit cards and cut up the checkbook? Then you get to the point where you have a cop doing his job. You're an irate man that could probably bowl him over. Situation could go anywhere. But at the end of the day, this is a situation you put yourself into, and you hung on to it. She took every penny, started dipping out on those that did have, and then discarded you the same way she found you.
Random question. Am I the only male on this panel that felt like if that was a brother, same build, he wouldn't have had as much latitude to be as irate as he was?
Well, 2 things, King. Yes, but at the same time, he was also in Atlanta, and I saw that the officer was a brother in Atlanta, and the officers in Atlanta are a lot different than other places. Not all of them, but a lot of them have a little bit more understanding and discernment in that circumstance. But to your point, I questioned it as well. Would it have gone a different way had he been a brother as irate? I don't know. I can't answer that, but it definitely crossed my mind.
Yeah, I don't think they probably would, because he really didn't do too much. I mean, other than just raising his voice, what I'm saying, he really didn't do nothing too volatile. I mean, to be expected about what he's going through, that's to be expected. Man, found out his wife cheating, his money's gone. Yeah, I mean, he didn't. I didn't see him throwing shit, tearing shit up. I didn't see nothing broken up out in the yard or nothing like that. So, I mean, it's to be expected. But I was gonna say this. It sounds like this ain't the first time that this happened, because for the kids to go straight to calling the cops. Yeah, this ain't the first time this situation blew up like it, to that point where police need to be called. This ain't the first time. If the kids knew right off bat, okay, call the police, because most times kids won't call the police on the parents on a situation like that, not normally. And then usually after the mother probably told them, well, if you ever see your dad do that again, I want y'all to call the police. So I don't think this was the first time that the daddy got irate. but it's probably the first time that they had the police called on him. So I mean, I think the officer probably did as much as he probably could in that situation. I think he handled it. I don't know if it went any further, if he got arrested or not. I don't know. But it seemed like from what we've seen so far, I thought the officer did a pretty good job, just allowing the man pretty much to say what he wanted to say, get that shit up off his chest. And I would have even offered, man, if you need to call somebody, you can use my phone to call somebody. If you just need to go get some stuff so you get away from for a night, get a hotel or whatever. Do what you need to do, man. And I'll take you there if you need me to give you a ride. You know what I'm saying? Something, But in my opinion, I thought the officer handled it probably the best way you probably could in that situation.
So, Hank, you think he went upside her head and then went outside?
I don't know if he probably went upside the head, but I bet he busted up some goddamn walls in the house.
Yeah,
I
he was
bet
tight.
he
That
put
was
a hole in a
stressful.
wall or two. I bet you that. I bet you a wall took the brunt of most of that if he didn't put his hands on him.
We were just talking about the best friend governing
He might need some of that left-hand
relationship.
cigarette in the system. That might be what he needed to
Yeah.
calm his ass down.
We were just talking about the best friend governing a circumstance. Anytime we need an outside entity to govern our own house, whether it be police, best friend, etc., that relationship is doomed.
Yeah, Sean, I used to tell guys all the time, if I'm here, your relationship's over, brother. If she called the police on you, this is done. You don't ever talk to her again. If a woman's calling the police on you and you haven't, y'all got into a little argument or whatever the case may be, and she called the police on you, bro, don't ever talk to her again. Because what happens a lot of times is some women like to use law enforcement. They like to abuse it. They like to leverage it and use it. And so if she's showing you that she's capable of doing that, don't ever put yourself in that situation again. And I'm a firm believer that if somebody does it once, they will do it again. Why would you even give them the opportunity to do it again? So, again, I feel bad for this man. He made more than enough money to be able to take care of his family for the rest of their life, right? They were on a TV show. I think they were making collectively about $100,000 an episode. She made $1 million off of that song. What is it? Something about a party. There's plenty of money. I think they mismanaged it. I think that I don't know how it is to live in Atlanta, but I can just imagine that when you're on TV, you have to keep up appearances. I used to date a woman. She's now on a reality show. She broke as hell, but you never know it. You never know it by looking on it. And I'm like, when you come into town in DC, you go stay with your aunt. You can't even afford a hotel room. Like you would never know it if you looked at her. So there's a need to keep up appearances, and I don't know if they need. Like I look at that big old house, I'm like, do y'all really need all of that? Probably not. You know what I mean?
Living above your means.
Wow.
I would like to get just a quick pushback on that. If you're getting a qualified or certified therapist coming in to help you to put things together, I think that's okay. You might need someone arbitrary that's licensed that does this. That's a whole different circumstance. And I would give that grace if you have someone coming in trying to fix things that you and your significant other can't see eye to eye about, and they can help you, parse out where the differences are because they're certified to do it. Not your auntie fits the third cousin coming in with her 2 cents, because certain relationships are worth salvaging, and you may not have the tools on hand to see or implement certain things to get over certain humps, because that's how a lot of marriages are broken up, because people can't see, okay, this is an obstacle, how we get past it. We got in this thing for better or for worse, and people seem to forget those words as soon as they hit a four-way intersection and agreements go elsewhere, and that can't be a commonplace. That's my part on that.
I agree with what you're saying, but the point isn't, if you're going to get a professional, officer is not that professional. Now, granted, some officer. Okay.
That's not what he said.
To be fair, Croy, neither Kim called the police. To be fair, the kids did.
Okay, that's true too.
Hey, Sean, they should have
And,
asked you to come in. Like, you know how you go ahead and say,
He went right into
yo,
the whole
you know
thing.
what's funny though? You know what's funny though? Seriously, financial literacy is taught, but what isn't taught to some of these athletes and entertainers is the crutch or the distraction that fame puts into it. Fame is a whole other monster that people need to learn how to get through or get around. Because living up to them
How do
Joneses,
you
as
learn
was
that,
just
Shano?
described,
Shano, how do you learn that? Where do you go to learn that?
man,
Who do you go to learn that?
you can go to entertainers who have been through it, who have
Like who?
lost it.
Like who?
Let me give a good example
Yeah,
because I
nah.
don't
See,
want to
that's
put
yeah.
myself
Let me
out.
jump in.
You talking
Let me
about
jump in
I
with a
don't
little
have.
bit of realism. Let me jump in with real life, like Tuesday and Wednesday. Here's what you do: go to some people that disagree with you,
Oh,
because
real quick.
you can go to all of the professionals you want, and Auntie and the rest of them. They all enablers. They all gonna agree with you and take your side. So here's what you do: you set up 3 people and say, when I come to you, if I come to you, automatically disagree with me, and let me know I'm on your significant other's side. Prove me wrong. Because we go to our support system and we go to our therapists, and all they do is agree with us and enable us and tell us we were right and everybody else was wrong, and we be in there for 3-4 years spending a bunch of money and not getting nowhere. For this particular situation, the not listening was the most operative thing for me, and that's why he was yelling and screaming. And like Trey said, he wasn't really going to do much. He just wanted to get it out. But the most realistic part, the Tuesday Wednesday part, is all of it's subject. The money's going to run out unless you have a really good plan, unless you have some really good kids that you put that plan into. You could say legacy all you want. If they spend the money as soon as you die, your legacy is gone. So none of it's enough. If you got $1 million salary and your lights cost 40,000 to keep on and your lawn costs 40,000 to cut, this is how they live. They don't think they're ever going to be lukewarm ever. They don't think that it's going to run out. And that's not true. They don't make the necessary provisions. And when it all falls down, like the brother said, no provisions being made. You with this ride or die woman that she only riding. She's sitting on the side looking pretty, doing her hair, riding. You ain't make no provisions, open up no businesses, set up no trajectories, rub no elbows. But again, we all so sophisticated. We all so savvy. I know everybody and this and that and all the people around Atlanta. And I'm one of the hot wives, and you ain't make not one hot connection. You ain't make this money grow at all. And just like Joe Smith wife and Michael Jackson wife and Mike Tyson wife and every fucking body else's wife, all of the money runs out. So either you're super savvy and you're dealing with some people of quality that when you put these valuable tools in them, they use them. They preserve your vision. They preserve your finances. They preserve your image. Those are the people that we worrying about. And it's not about the tangibles. It's about intangible quality people. And that Real Housewife or somebody that probably wasn't even married, like just the whole schematics of it. And like somebody said in the chat, addicted to drama. We are addicted to drama. From The Color Purple led you to Tyler Perry and SUV and Grey's Anatomy. Addicted to it. And if it's none around, we'll create it. And again, this is why us men speak towards modern women and women alike, because y'all are the ones addicted to all this drama. We just want to watch sports. We want to watch some guys have a game, throw a ball right here, and you like, oh, and I walk in front of you, and you must be cheating on me because I got these thong on and you ain't moved. I just want to watch a fun game. But if I don't want to sit down and watch Michael Myers or some slash, blood, saw, gut, cut, stab, kill, snapped, 60 days in, like, you guys are psychos, and you Stockholm sent us to be psychos too. We don't want to be psychos. And it's situations like this that man doesn't get listened to. He's ready to flip his wig because he went from hot to not overnight, and people don't even understand. He needs to, hold his emotions, and he acting spicy, and all of that. because we just, have to deal with what America is, black and white alike. As you see, just being a man in this country is hard. Cop, military, gangster, regular guy, working man, East Coast, West Coast, Midwest. This is not a coincidence. Y'all could try to make it seem like it is, but it's not. This is just men coming through, sharing experiences, and look at what these experiences leaded us to. Sorry, I was so long-winded, Presh.
Hey, nah, he
I know
said
you're
you
good.
Hey,
like
man.
you
Woo, that was
no,
man.
that what you said. Somebody else also said that too about going to somebody that disagrees with you. I think I heard Patrick Bet Davis say that once about when you're in a marriage that you go to people that aren't going to agree with you. It was something that my friends, I've had the same friends for 30 years. Listen, these dudes do not agree with me. When I used to come to them and tell you, my girl acting crazy, they go home and fix it. Because all of my friends are married and have kids. And they like, go home and fix it. You can work on some things too. I never had the friends that was like, well, women be acting like this or women crazy. No, they were like, nah. They would listen to the story. Okay, Trey, well, you a little hot-headed. You a little stubborn, right? You a little obnoxious. You could be an asshole too. So go home and go fix it. I agree with you 100%, he said.
I agree as well. But you asked one person, a person that I think could give some good advice, and I've seen him give some good advice, Mike Tyson.
I would agree. And he does have his first wife was, Robin Givens. His second wife is the one that put him back on track.
Yep.
The director. She told him to write a screenplay. And somebody to help you co-write your stand-up. And every business decision he sits down, he's the lead, but she gives him the angles and he's rebounded successfully. So I'm on the fence with that. Certified therapy, you might say it's not arbitrary. That might be good for some people, but I've seen with my own eyes. My uncle used to fist fight. They went down, found a certain therapist that was arbitrary. They've been together 50 some odd years. Not another fight.
Well, it's a different kind of therapy though as well. But so not to talk against you. Like yesterday, I had a Zoom call with all the male members in my family. Right, everybody didn't show up, but we had all the male. So we had to kind of make sure that none of the honeys, none of the sisters and cousins, and all the women try to crash because you know how they like to crash out spaces. But it was like once we were on, we could have the kind of conversation that men have. And what he said, Mr. He said, it's kind of like that. A lot of people don't understand just the ambient pressure of being a man, right? And being able to kick it with other men. It's if you're on your grind, I mean, a lot of times we don't need to take credit for it because we just know we have to do what we have to do because there's no safety net for men who want to be men. You want families, you want this and that. You got to just assume the role or else you get lost. And it's funny because I usually don't get into like beefs and stuff. I saw this just on TikTok, this white lady talking about she's so happy she was going from her husband. And she mentioned, and I said, this is typical stuff on TikTok. I don't really, comment on that stuff. And then she said, yeah, one of the things that men do when they're married, they're sucking their life out of the women. That's why they live longer. That's why married men make more money. I said, how the hell are you going to make a man living longer negative? Right? I said to myself, and I had to say something. I said, listen, you just said you don't understand men at all. The guy lived longer because he has obligation to his wife and family. He wants to see that book play out. It gives him energy. That's why a man will live longer if he has a family, somebody to work for, to love, to nurture, the obligation keeps you young, right? Men need purpose, right? That's why they live longer. They got a purpose. That's why young men who get married, like in the NFL or the NBA, if they get married early to the right woman, they tend to do better in their career than just a single guy running around chasing the honey. So I said, listen, you just told me as a 40-something-year-old woman, you just told me you don't know anything about men. And you should stop trying to comment. And you know what? I'm sorry that I said anything, but I just couldn't hold back. What do you mean? How are you going to make a man dying, living longer, a negative? You know, so it was crazy. I mean, after all the stupid shit she said, that was the one that got me, because men don't get enough credit for doing the right thing when we do it. You know, and I don't need to have people shouting that, but it's there. And if nobody else is going to exalt us for that, we should do it for ourselves from time to
That lady must be waiting on the insurance policy. That's all I'm hearing.
time.
Well, I'm definitely proud of y'all fellas, man, for being proud of providing. You know, I hear a lot of women and back and forth in this space that say, you know, well, I could go to work and I could provide and I could take care of the house, but would you be as proud as I am? Would you pound your chest and stick your chest out and say, you know, I'm happy to be able to do what I do for people that love me, respect me, and honor me. So, you know, I do
He
understand
said
women
they
could
stressed
do
out.
what they do, but I don't think they would be proud of it. I think they would be saying, Trey, you know, I wish somebody would take this load off my back, or I wish this nigga would get a job. I think they would say that. I don't think they would be as proud as, you know, a gentleman is to say, you know, I go and I take care and stand on business.
That's a very
You
good
can't
point.
get me to believe that
With
these
her
women
not
are
having a
stressed
job.
out. You can't get me to believe that these women are stressed out. The reason why they're not smiling and why they're not happy and why they're stressed out. Car notes, car insurance, mortgage, home insurance, electric, gas, water, cable, internet, cell phone. They got bills. And I haven't
Every
even
week.
got into student debt.
Every
I haven't even
week.
got
Can't
to
even
student
get
debt
into
yet.
that. Yeah.
They have
Woo.
bills. And the
But
reason
a
why
lot of
they
those.
can't be
Go ahead.
happy, the reason why they can't go out and enjoy life to its fullest, because she got to get her ass up at 6 a.m. on Monday morning and go to work. And so a lot of these women are stressed. And what do? They take that stress that they have from being independent and they bring it into the relationship. And now he's stressed. Well, he already had his stress. His stress was
Agreed.
trying to build for a family. And now I got to deal with your stress on top of my stress. Come on, man. This is why the guys who provide or whatever, I understand it. I get it. But my thing is this, and I said this, if you want to be in my life, you got to make a decision. If you're going to work, then that means that you have to find a way to not bring that stress home to me, because I don't want to see none of it. I don't want to see none of it. Leave that shit at work. There's a reason why when I was an officer, I used to change my uniform at work. I never got dressed at home. Never. I always got dressed at work. The moment I took that uniform and that badge off, I left that shit at work. And I went home and I was a dad and I was a boyfriend or whatever you want to call it. I left it at work. We have women who are taking that stress, putting it on their shoulders, getting in their car, driving all the way home and unloading that stress in the house. Well, that can't be a good recipe for a long-lasting relationship and or marriage. I truly believe that women are in their less stressful position not working. I think when they are focused on taking care of home and taking care of a family, that is the least stressful place they can be. But once you start adding jobs on, most women, they can't handle it. They can't handle all the bills. I got a friend right now. She's talking every time I turn around, there's another bill coming in the house. Well, wait, you left your husband. So yeah, you got plenty of bills. There they go. There they go.
Trey, you got definitely a great point with the stress, but I don't think it's just the working, because kids add stress. Life adds stress to that women sometimes just don't handle well.
Yeah, but you're at work from 9 to 5 or, you know, whatever those hours are. That's a large portion of your day and week that's going to people who could care less about you, who will probably send you a card if you pass away, and that's about it. Like,
I
you
agree
know,
with you, Precious. I'm just saying that it
kids
depends
add
on the
stress.
circumstance.
Kids add stress, but if that stress was I personally believe it's a different type of stress than being at work, because at work you're trying to worry how you're going to get everything done. If you're just stressing over kids, you know, a trip to the spa or whatever will probably clear that up. But you're not worrying how you're going to survive. You're just providing for others under the provision of your husband. So it's a different stress.
I'm not
Definitely a
measuring the
different
differences.
And
Yeah, I'm not
Precious,
measuring the
not only
differences.
that, Precious, but that stress alleviates itself as the children get older. They become less and less dependent on you.
Exactly.
Whereas your job does not. Your job
Right.
maintains its stress level and or gets worse.
You're expected.
I'm not measuring the stress levels between the two. I'm just saying that it's not the only stress stress from jobs is not the only issues that we have with relationships and women who get overwhelmed and not know how to handle it.
Mm-hmm.
The pandemic proved it. The pandemic proved it very clearly.
Yeah, you know what, Sean, you're correct, but that also tells you a little bit how upside down society has, where women could make a full-fledged issue about raising their own children. You know, that's crazy. Now, some kids are more hassle than others. Like, you know, my daughter, I used to have to grab her and sit her on my lap and count to 20 because she used to be the ambient noise in the house. I worried about her. She was always moving. I mean, one day I just kept hearing noises. You know, my daughter's bouncing off the walls and shit. And until she started to focus on certain things, then it kind of calmed down. And now, you know, no drugs, no nothing like that. But, you know, it turns out that she just needed to be engaged. And once she gets engaged in something, that was it. But when she was real young, she used to exhaust the hell out of her mother because she just had to. I mean, the kid never would stop. Never. But the only thing that was great about her is when we put her down to sleep, she used to leave it all on the bed. Now, she'd go to bed at, you know, whatever time, and she would not wake up until the morning, and then it started all over again.
Yeah, you have to be able to control that stress, and like Trey was saying, it after a while it lessens, but you have to you have to raise your children. You have to give bedtimes. You have to be strict on certain things. Like you just can't let them run you either. So we're gonna move on to the I'm sorry, Hank, go ahead. After Hank, we're gonna move on to the
I was gonna say, our pain. I wouldn't be saying the only thing that she does is lay down and exhaust energy. I wouldn't have used those words. The only. Hopefully, she didn't see this and she heard that.
That's right. All right, man.
All right, so we're gonna go on to this final clip. The reason why we're all here. But you have this former pastor, Tim, I believe his last name is Roth. Don't want to correct me if I'm wrong. But he now has a podcast, and like someone stated in the very, 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 very beginning, he has these basement-like conversations for believers, right? He has these conversations that are, you know, he'll say certain things to grab the crowd. But this one I saw the other day, and I was like, all right, okay. Like, I know, you know, with this social media thing, you want your followers, you want engagement, you want all of that good stuff. But certain things to me are just ridiculous. And this is one of the ones. So I'm going to play this video clip and then we can get into it. I think Sean dropped off and he's back. So we're going to get into it because I just think this was crazy.
Keep it a buck with you. She never signed up for 5 inches. While you worried about her body shape and she gained a few pounds and all that kind of stuff, what she's never told you is she had an 8-inch peen and she married 5.
Amen.
She died to the thought of the 8-inch peen and accepted your 5.
And you got a gut.
And if it's 5 and you got a gut, you can't see it. Hey, dog, I'm just, you know what I'm saying? Because we always out here trying to act like my wife is letting herself go and she doesn't sexually satisfy me. Let your wife talk a buck. Your ego is too fragile. That's why she never brought it up. You have no idea how many women are sparing men's egos in the bedroom and in counseling. Because you never get over it. You never get over it if she really told you how she felt about your peen. You would never get over it if she really told you how she felt about your teeth. You would never get over it if she really kept it a buck about your back hair. You would never get over it. You would never get over it. Some of y'all's breath.
Your nails.
Child.
Cuticles.
These men's egos are so fragile. You would never get over it.
Right.
I don't know who that rate came from, but it ain't sound right. All right. So what do you guys think about this clip? Because when I heard it, I just thought lies. Like, why are we lying? Why are we lying? Why are women lying to men? Because he said if your wife could keep it a buck with you, which going into relationships, you're supposed to be honest. You're supposed to be hot, honest, open, and transparent, right? So if that's the case, that means a lot of women are lying and then divorcing men and saying that they're not happy. So that's what I don't understand. Like when I listened to that, that's what I thought. I know a lot of women probably was like, "Oh my God, he's telling the truth," and blah blah blah. No, if you gonna get with a man, you need to get with that man because you truly like everything about that man, even his stink ass breath. Okay, because for him to say something like this, now he was a former pastor who also, I believe, counseled couples and things of that nature. So how does he know this? Like, where is he getting this data from?
He's pandering. He's pandering for views. I watched him a couple of times.
Mm-hmm.
I saw him with Princella expounding her views on how the woman is the omega to the alpha and all that good stuff. And then he was like, "Oh, you were hurt," and he started crying. And I'm like,
He started crying.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
jeez.
That guy. A woman, you get in a relationship with a woman, she don't know you got a pickle. Then she wants to further it, knowing that's a lot of relationships, high percentages are broke up because of sex and certain things of that nature. She would go to far as for being in a full-fledged relationship that led to misery down the line. She would willingly sign on for something that she would resent you for in the long run. Make it make sense.
Well, it doesn't make sense to your point. And Precious, you said it very clearly. You can't, they're unhappy because they're not being honest often. And that's part of what it is. And by the way, the pastor did say child. That just was suspect to me in itself. I heard child. That was suspect, period. So I couldn't really take into consideration what he was speaking. But yeah, you made a great point when you said women are lying and not being hot. That's why, since you said it, I've been using it. Honest, open, and transparent. Because honesty starts it, but that openness and transparency pushes it along. But they're not starting with honesty. They're starting with, deception, basically. And then wonder why they're unhappy. That's why, because they can't even speak on what it is that will make them happy because they're ashamed, afraid, or something else in between.
This is, let's be honest here, this is the typical female argument that he's making, right? Well, if she talked about things that you can't control, you wouldn't like it, right? If she talked about your height, something you can't control, you wouldn't like it, right? You're born with the size of your penis. It is what it is. You're born with it or you ain't. It is what it is. Something you can't control. He only listed one thing that you can control, and that was your gut. When men have gripes and complaints with women, it's typically something they are in control of, something you can change about yourself. Hey, babe, you gained weight. You can fix that. Hey, babe, you have a poor attitude. You can fix that. Hey, babe, I don't like your hair. You can fix that, right? These are things that can be changed and adjusted. But whenever it comes to men, for some reason, it's all, I am never going to be 6 feet tall. I'm 5'11". God cut me off right at 5'11". Nothing I can do about it. I can put on these shoes. They'll push me up to 6 feet, 6'1". But at the end of the day, I'm 5'11". That's what it is. Nothing I can do about it.
Hey,
what I can't control is what I look like, right? Physically, I can go to the gym. I can control my diet, things of that nature, right? But here's something else I can't control. See this right here? See this? Had no control over it. Hair was falling out of my hands when I was in Iraq in 2009. As I was shaved, it was just falling out. I was stressed. We talked about stress earlier. I was stressed, right? While I was in Iraq. Nothing I can do about it. So if you want to get on me about being bald, fine. Nothing I can do about that, though. But I'm talking about your real hair. Grows out of your head. You can do something about that. I'm annoyed with this constant rhetoric about men need to do things about things they have no control over. It's irritating. Now, the things that they can't control, get into the money, get into the bag, investments, right? Portfolios, things of that nature, I have no issues with. A lot of guys asleep at the wheel when it comes to those things, right? But the things that they can't control, get off their back because it's annoying. You can control your weight though, baby.
Now bump that Trey. I got hope.
Ooh.
They got leg lengthening surgeries out here, player. I can hit that 6 feet, my dog. I just gotta have a friend.
And you gonna have T-Rex arms. Don't do that. Don't do that.
You gonna let them break your legs, King?
You gonna have T-Rex arms with them long ass legs.
I wish I had a good caller. Wish I had a baller. Wish I had a girl that looked good. I would call her.
No way, man.
Don't do it. Someone had put a comment in the chat and said, we go out of our way to hide behind money and status to avoid hard truths about ourselves. And it's just like I said on the Lapeef Network when we did this segment. A woman has to like you for you. I mean, that's it and that's all. She has to like you for you. If she don't like the things that you come with, then she needs to keep it moving. She doesn't need to park and use you for the things that you can provide for her, because at the end of the day, it's never going to work. She's either going to cheat on you or you're going to get divorced, or both. A woman is going to cheat on you if she does not like you. It's simple.
And Precious, he's wrong.
Say that.
He's wrong though. She did sign up for 5 inches.
Exactly, she did.
That's why she did. She signed up for it.
Right, she married him. So it's like, you did sign up for this. He didn't force you, didn't put a gun in your head. You signed up for it when you said I do. You signed up for it when you said for better or for worse. Now, if that's for worse for you, then that's what you signed up for. A 5-inch penis.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, go ahead.
The brother over here made a great point. He made a great point. If she's moving in the seat. Oh, sorry about that, Hank.
No, you good. What I was gonna say is most of the times they already know this, like you said, they already know the size of your penis probably within the first 2 or 3 dates anyway.
Right.
And if they not gonna vibe with that because it's not enough, they not gonna vibe with it. You won't last past the first time you got them cheeks. So you got to move on with a woman who's willing to get with a man who's sacrifice a few inches here and there. You know, whether it's on the penis or on the height, either one, whichever. Maybe both. I don't know. Goddamn. It's life, I guess. But yeah, this dude sound crazy, man. I mean, like you said, yeah. If he was on with the queen maker, whatever she called her, Princella. I'll question everything that man has to say now.
No doubt.
I can't take nothing he's saying serious. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, it's all for the views. That's all for the views.
Well, let me just throw that, Hinky, if you're done, let me just throw this out there. One of the things that's true is that and I think we don't give women enough credit for this. Not all women, not all. Women are negotiators. They look for the things, whether they can live with it or not. If you are a guy who could provide and you can satisfy a need that they're concerned about, sometimes they convince themselves they can live with your shortcomings, right? And if they can understand that, they even if they're lying to themselves. Now, it might not last a lifetime, but women do that all the time. It's not like they don't. So it depends on what kind of women you have, but I think they negotiate those kind of things all the time. Not all women, but it's not uncommon for a woman to marry a man who has shortcomings, not only on his Johnson, but on other things, because she's comfortable in his household. There's women who are champions of the dual mating strategy. They'll stay with you because you're a provider, but they'll have babies by men on the outside. All you gotta do, the guy that strikes her fancy, she'll have his baby and tell you it's yours. It's a whole bunch of dudes who the paternity fraud rate is like 30-something% in America. if you got 5 children or something like that, I'm not going to say this in general, but there's a chance for some women, 1 or 2 of those kids ain't yours. You know, so I mean, women do this. There's a lot of dastardly shit they do, as opposed to tell you the truth, because you provide the one thing or 2 things that they require that they can't get out of the man that interests them or the man that they're sexually attracted to. And it happens. It just does. And, you know, somehow you have to ferret that shit out. Now, if you got a small Johnson, you know you got a small Johnson. And if she's over there hooping and hollering and shit, when you stick this shit in there and it's a whole bunch of kind of room, you got to kind of know that you're being lied to. You know what I'm saying? Come on.
Oh, pain.
So,
Lord have mercy.
I'm just saying. Yeah, there you go. But let me, I'll just land it there. So some guys will live with that. You know, my wife ain't happy, but I still at least have access to her for a little bit that I get. I mean, I think there's a lot of people living those kinds of lives required.
Did you
Damn.
So that means the way you rationalize it, a man should live with accepting less and living a lie.
I did not say that. I'm saying that there's women who will do that to men who provide the things that they want. The man is just fat, dumb, and happy. Usually the man is fat, dumb, and happy in those kind of situations. I got at least some access to this chick. And, you know, the guys do that all the time. We sit down here and act like it doesn't happen. That's why we have this normal frustration. We just saw a guy who shouldn't have been arguing. His wife is cheating on him, spending all his money. I mean, women are men's Achilles heel. And, you know, it takes a man of discernment to understand that I'm not going to be a woman's victim. You know, and a lot of men are not like that. I mean, unfortunately, that's why we have to, you know, sometimes, you know, how many examples do we have to see of men get their ass kicked by chicks?
So I repeat again, it's what you choose to accept. But I take emotion out of it. That means you're logically living a lie. Because if you're abiding to someone who really doesn't love you and is only there for an infinite amount of time because of resources, the same thing plays out with what we just saw in a video 2 videos past.
Right.
A man distraught outside, don't know where he going left or right. For you to awaken my love, not only for men, for women, that makes you a coward.
I don't disagree. You acting like I'm saying I'm for that. I'm just telling you.
I'm arguing the point, not you.
You
understand?
There you go.
That makes you a coward. If you're that woman and the brother in the hood said, you are moving on me in deceit, you got into a full-fledged relationship. Say, I'm gonna give you the sliver of hope. Oh, he might grow on me.
Yes, that's right.
He might grow on me.
Yeah.
But 9 times out of 10, we all know that's not the story.
It's not gonna happen. Right. I agree.
True
But
indeed.
you don't awaken my love. And most men, they take a bit. Most men have trust issues, just like women. For you to open that spot and show me that, oh, you might give me a chance to find love, and you're moving in deceit, that makes you disingenuous with every move that you make past the point when I say, I'm your man and you're my woman.
I agree with you 100%. And my first clue, and I'm going to end it here, is when women started calling men their partners. They're telling you that you're just an LLC and shit, a limited sole proprietorship or some bullshit like that. And you're only good to them as long as you could provide the shit that they want in this partnership. Right? So, and you hear it all, it's pervasive. And the only thing worse than that is hearing men use that goddamn term.
Such as the guy with the glasses, pandering.
There you go.
The only thing I would add real quick is just opportunistic and standards are 2 words that stick out for me. The opportunistic part, you know, she may sign on for the 5-inch penis and, you know, then change her mind and say, this is not what I signed on for, divorce and all of the, you know, the gain that comes with that, breaking up the home and whatever else, and the standards, you know, to sign on to the 5-inch penis. Where were your standards if this is not what, you know, you were in line for? If this man wasn't the one that floated your boat on other levels besides, how big his penis was. And if that's the sole denominator, it just says a lot about, a person's standards and going into these unions. And I just think it's more opportunistic than anything. And they know that they can pull the plug and still be compensated. So it's a, very, very tricky minefield to try to navigate through.
I agree.
I agree.
Someone had asked me if I would take a 5-inch penis.
Oh my God. It's kind of personal.
And the answer is I would have to really like you. I would really have to like you to accept your 5-inch penis. If I don't like you, then no.
I mean,
that's all around, type of like. But at the same time, women, I know that men are providers, but again, you have to like. I honestly don't even care what you can do for me. Anything you can do for me is extra, but I have to like you. Like we have to have we got to be able to laugh. We got to be able to have fun. We have to be able to, bounce back from when, we may have a disagreement or whatever the case may be. Like, I have to like the man. I don't care what anybody can do for me. I have to like the man himself. And if I like you, then I like anything and everything that comes with you.
You just made a whole bunch of you just made a whole bunch of 5-inch guys out there kind of happy, Precious.
But I'm just saying though, you can't change something that God gave the man that he ain't coming back down on earth and giving them any more. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so you have to, everybody has their shortcomings. Everybody has something that somebody may have something better. You know what I mean? So you have to like that person enough to say, I accept this about you. You have to, and that's the thing. A lot of women don't accept men for exactly who they are. They want them to be somebody else. They want them to make some other money. They want them to be like somebody else's husband. And it's like, no, he is him. Accept him for him.
Can I ask this, Precious? When do you need that information, though? Do you need that information before there's a connection, or do you need that information after there's a connection?
What, that he has a 5-inch penis before?
Yeah.
No, I mean, that's your private part. So, I mean, I think it should stay private until
Right. Well, the reason why I'm asking is if you build this connection and you like him for him, and then you find out he ain't packing what you want him to be packing, are you then settling technically?
No, I don't think that I'm settling, because again, if I like you for you, I'm accepting everything that comes with you, which means that I'm going to have to learn how to do my thing with that 5-inch thing you got. I mean, that's what that means. It doesn't mean I'm just going to be like, oh, see ya. If I really like you, why would I walk away from you? Like, why would I stop?
You think you'd be able to hide that in your face, like the disappointment every time you see it? You just like, I really just got to work with this. This is all he got.
You start calling him Little Joe. Hey, that's Little Joe.
The reason why I'm asking, Precious, is at some point you women don't really do a good job of like masking your facial expressions when you're disappointed. We can see it.
I definitely don't.
Yeah, we can see it. So at some point in time, he's going to notice she's not impressed with me.
I just think that if I like you, then I'm gonna be okay.
You know what you gotta tell him? Shave your pubic hair, make it look bigger.
I mean, I hope the size isn't.
There's one size, and then there's another size after y'all. So
you're gonna have to get your man an extendo clip.
Shit, crazy.
First of all, as a woman, women don't like men who are hung like a horse. I don't know what.
That's what I was getting ready to say, Press.
He's trying to act like they want you to be hi ho. Yeah. Like, no, no woman is not a pleasurable experience for a woman. So, and that's another reason why women do not, they're not pleasured throughout sex because a man think he doing something and he really not doing anything. I think honestly, the man with a 5-inch penis probably could do way more than the man who got a 9 or 10-inch penis.
Are you saying women are lying to us?
Yes, I said that when we first started this segment. Women be lying. They're lying to y'all.
If there was a clip of a woman, there's a woman with that ruler. You ever saw that clip of the woman with the ruler saying, she had the different signs and said, this is she put it out to 12 inches and she said it's gonna kill me and this. She was funny as hell. That's funny.
It's indicative that it's just like that in dating and in society. It's hard to find that super gray area, that perfect mesh, because again, 5 inches may be too little, but I've heard a lot of people say, don't bring no 11-inch thing up in here. What are you trying to go with that? And you ain't gonna be banging it. Like, it's crazy how you gotta be perfect all of the time. But I don't know if the size is indicative of the results. You know what I mean? If they're not climaxing, and I think that's where this conversation may have some validity. If 70 some odd % of women aren't climaxing, then it really don't matter if it's 5 inches or 10 inches. Like, you guys aren't taking the time to please your woman. And I think that's where the conversation really lies, that you know what climaxing feel like. You know you don't like to go without it. So why would you put that on her? Like, if you ask her out of 10 times, how many times do you climax? You got to work with that number that you get. Because if it's 4 or 3, then come on, B. Who's going to look forward to the next time if you hardly likely to climax this time? So, I think all of that comes into play. But again, that's that Tuesday, Wednesday thinking for me, that if she's not, getting hers, she's not going to be looking forward to my every whim and acclimating to her husband and just dropping it like it's hot whenever he requests and all of that. So, a little bit of that is on me. And like, everybody else was saying up here, just that consciousness, man, just, trying to maintain your beard and get some drawers. She shouldn't have to be the only one buying you damn drawers, and, get her favorite cartoon character. Like, put some thought into it, fellas. Your cologne, just the little things that you could do to groom yourself, to let her know that you paying attention to yourself and you paying attention to her. So, maybe it'll be easier for her to climax, and y'all can play who comes first. That's a great game.
Hey, listen, you said that's great. One thing, another context clue from the sister. She said she gotta like you. When a woman likes you, man, that's currency.
She'll accept anything.
That's a lot of currency right there when they like you. And and if you got that established, at least you have a chance when a woman likes you.
Well, the fickleness about when they don't like you or when they choose to change, that sometimes plays a part.
So you said when they don't like you.
What do you mean? Yeah, Sean, what do you mean?
That means she don't like you.
No, meaning that she like you, but something, a feather tickled her butt and it's changed.
Somebody tickle her butt? What?
No. In other words, she got fickle about something and decided, I don't like you right now, or whatever the case may be. But that's neither here nor there. Your points are well taken. We'll move on from that.
Thank you.
You mean, Sean, she was being a woman? Is that what you saying?
Right. Oh, man.
I'm just saying, listen, y'all get a pass to change your minds whenever y'all feel like it.
Oh, no doubt.
Like, I just, it's Tuesday, and I feel this way. And then Wednesday comes, and, I feel this way now. And it's like, well, yesterday you said, you know what, whatever.
But that was
whatever. Just go about it.
Don't judge me.
Thank you. That's what I was trying to say, something along those lines.
Yeah, women definitely are fickle. I can admit to that. Women definitely do change their minds. That comes into knowing who you're with too. That comes into knowing, what kind of woman you have, because some men won't even pay that any mind. Like, girl, go lay down. Go eat something. Maybe you hungry. They like, you just have to know who you're with. You have to know that person. But trying to think, did everybody go on this? Because we did get a super chat. Super chat. We got 2 actually.
You all right, Precious? You all
Big
right?
Ant. Yeah, I'm good.
I'm just checking on you. Just checking on you.
So
Eagles are lucky I'm on this live. I'm not yelling at my TV, but it's all good.
So does that
What
make
up?
you the anomaly?
Huh?
So does that make you the anomaly? Because line up 10 women, you think they're gonna say the same thing as you?
I just don't think women even know themselves to even know what they like or what they would accept or what they, I just think that I wouldn't say that I'm an anomaly. I never look at myself that way because I don't know. I don't like to look at myself. I like to be humble. Okay. And so I think that there are very few women who would probably feel the same way that I feel. But the women who don't, they don't know what love is. And so they want a 9 to 11-inch Piper to just bang them out every night because they don't know what love is and they don't know how to cultivate it or they don't know what it looks like. And so they think some guy piping them down every night is love or the attention is so great that, they wouldn't know how to accept a man for who he is other than what he can give. So I just don't think that a lot of women probably are even raised, in a home with a man who, like you guys were talking about earlier, sacrifices, who's not changing his mind every 2 seconds, who's dedicated to the duty and the plan of having a family. So all of that goes into play. I think age probably goes into play as well. I'm not a young chick, but I'm not an old chick either. So, I value certain things that some women probably wouldn't value.
Also, something that Tim had said as well that I don't think we mentioned was, okay, if Tim is trying to say that if women were completely honest with men wouldn't be able to handle what's being said to them because of their egos. If you're somebody that stands at a certain height or whatever, if you're confident in who you are as a person, then that's not going to be something that somebody can shame you into having you feel any less than who you are for whatever it is that you have or whatever it is that you're working with. And it's always interesting to me when you see the guys that may be an average height guy with a lady that's significantly taller than him, right? And most people see that and they're like, man, that's off a bit. But when you take that guy's confidence, dude got swag through the roof typically because he's confident in who he is as a man to be able to have somebody that, you know what I'm saying, is taller than him. So
I just heard Kirk Franklin say that. Kirk Franklin said that he never had issues being shorter than a woman.
No.
He had that confidence.
I've had zero issues with anybody. As a matter of fact, my lady taller than me. I have no issues with that. Yeah, Shell about 5'9", 5'10". I'm 5'8". I say 5'8.5", but I'm like 5'8". She taller than me. I ain't had no issues with that. I had a 6 month.
She ever pat you on the head?
Crazy.
I ain't never had issues with that, man. I had a 6 month thing with somebody that was 6'2" at one point. Zero issues.
You were climbing trees.
Come on, King.
We had a whole height difference, but I mean, for me, it wasn't me being under 6 foot. Like, I never looked at that as a weakness for me. I'm like, shit, God gave me what he gave me.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
King of players.
Wow. You know what the core of this all is, and this is why I emphasize it so much. Hot, honest, open, and transparent. Because to the points that we was talking about with the sex or the lack thereof.
See what he did there? See what he did there? Let's go, Shawno.
If there was honesty about I'm not, not faking then we would be able to deal with it. We might, we'd be able to address it. if there's openness about, yo, you're not hitting my spots, and there's transparency about that, yeah, crush our egos. Let her. We've been having our egos crushed for some time. That man was advocating lying. Basically, he was basically saying, yo, we got to lie. Women got to lie to you in order to make it all right. No, women, tell us the truth. Let us go ahead and deal and let our egos get crushed as we have done in the past, and we might be able to suit you better. We might be able to do a lot better for you.
That's true. Hey, so Sean,
no, you might be able to do a lot better for yourselves.
Right.
You know, if a woman is being honest with you, then as a man, you take her honesty and you keep it moving, because you know, you guys create the world that we have to walk into. So if she's not being honest with you, and for some reason you don't catch that dishonesty, then it is what it is. But if a woman is being honest with you, that's something that you have to take for yourself and do better for yourself, rather than to still try to pour into her, a woman who's not necessarily into you like that.
Hey, let me raise my hand. I had somebody tell me I just didn't do it for her. I asked for a redemption stroke, got the redemption stroke, and I still didn't do it for her. It is what it is.
But you should have believed her. Why didn't you believe her on the first time?
I was lying to myself. I was like, you know what? I had an off night that night. You know, it had been a minute. You know, let me at least get some because I was off my game. And she granted it. And to her, I was still trying.
Because when a woman makes up her mind about something, it's hard to change it. The switch was already flipped off for her. So you try to come back in the room and switch it back on, and she like, no, leave that mother off. I want to be in the dark.
Can I ask you this though?
Yeah,
I'm gonna give you the ESPN report. Was your second performance better than your first performance? Were you more prepared for your second performance? Like, explain to me. Explain to us how you did get better.
You know what I'm saying? I came adequately hydrated and prepared, and it was still whack for her. It is what it is, man. It is what it is. You just gotta know who you are.
Hey, King said I hit her with the redemption stroke. She said the only thing is King about you is your last name.
This wasn't the 6'2" chick, was it? Was it the 6'2"?
Nah. Okay. And for some people, you just ain't gonna do it for them, man. It is what it is. I got told that it didn't hurt my ego, but I have, you know, like the mindset of, all right, you know, if I ain't for you, that's cool. It is what it is.
Hey, no, can you listen? I was stationed in Turkey. It was this chick's last night. She was getting ready to go to another base. We hooked up, and she told me straight up. She said, "Well, if it's good, I'll come back." I never saw her again.
I've had it happen, man. It is what it is, brother.
Yeah, we used to tease guys on the block. On our block, it was absolutely something we took notice of. The young ladies that visited only once. So, you know, we wanted to know, was it your game? Was it your feet? Was it your room? Was it dirty? Like, what was it? But we noticed when a young lady only visits once. And I think, again, that's the quality of good relationships. I don't know, younger people, they kind of spin it now. I've actually heard, you know, one of the bigger content creators say that when a person is married for a long amount of time, that's when they absolutely don't want to hear anything from them, because that just proves that a woman has put up with a man's stuff for you know, X amount of years, 10, 20 or 30 or whatever the case may be. So for me, it's completely the opposite. I've always, you know, operated under the impression that, you know, a man and a woman have an understanding that nobody understands except that man and that woman. That's something that y'all can unpack later on the rewind. But everybody is just reading a little too much into what we doing with relationships and what they are. I think, You know, you find somebody of quality, you try to build with them, and if you think they're worth making the necessary changes and doing the necessary things, you do that. But if not, in this day and time, you know, I'm completely in line with my young brother Trey. Is completely a transactional, you know, thing now. So you definitely got to protect yourself at all times, make the best decision for you and yours, and you know, move accordingly. Sorry for being so long-winded, y'all.
You're good.
Is that your catch line? Because you ain't long-winded at all, bro. We enjoy what
Nah, I'm
the
trying to show
Nah,
y'all that
that's
when y'all are long-winded, y'all could at least apologize for it.
Lead by example.
Great point. Great
Hey,
point.
hey, he
That's
said you see that
transparency,
you
openness,
see
and
that brother,
Yes.
transparency.
you see that brother above you. You see the proud baby boomer brother.
That's
Yeah,
my
he
brother.
gives college lectures.
That's my
Listen,
brother.
first of all, I'm really succinct and straight to the point. The fact is that
Shit.
it's poison to your ears when I talk, Trey, because I'm old. You can't stand it. So it seems like it's a
I'm
100.
old too, Arpay. I'm old. I'm like 50 years old, man.
Our pain in order of age, we probably are the longest winded. You're first because you're the oldest. I'm probably second because I'm the second oldest, and it goes down the line. He's right.
But I
He's right.
reject this premise that I'm long-winded. That's what I'm saying. But hey, if
And
that's
that's
what
part
you
of the age. That's part of the age too. We get it, but
well,
it's
let
all
me
right.
tell you, when you don't want to
See,
hear
they
somebody,
don't
this when
believe
I
that men
open
can
my
be
mouth,
delusional
it's
too.
like sticking ice picks in Trey's ears. So that's why it seems like it's a long wind,
Listen,
man.
I'm a millennial. Our attention span is about that big, that much right there. I can't do the y'all to be.
I'm working on
I
it, man.
can't
I'm
do it.
working on it. I'm working on it.
So
Oh,
thank you
You
to
man.
gotta
the
remember,
guys
I grew
who
up on video games. Our pain. Look, my attention span that long.
thank you
Pain.
to
And when I
those.
say that very respectfully because
Oh,
I'm
no
as
problem.
long winded.
No
I'm
problem,
the second oldest. I'm guilty.
man. I hear you. I hear you.
Thank you to those who have sent cash apps. I really appreciate it. We got a couple of super chats in here. We have Big Ant 11 who says, "What up, Pink? And let's not keep Paint up too late." Big Ant also sent another $10 super chat. Says, "You can't expect someone to accept you when they're a failure at accepting themselves," and I totally agree with that. So you know, when women don't accept themselves, i.e., wigs, nails, BBLs, you know, wanting to keep up with the Joneses, it's going to be hard for them to just accept you and just you and what you know, minus what you can provide or what you can do for her. It's going to be hard for her to accept you because she can't even accept herself. She can't even look herself in the mirror. So all she is going to want from you are things. Um, so we're going to move on to final thoughts. I really appreciate all those who are in the chat and decided to spend the evening with us. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you chose to be here with us. So I do appreciate you. But we're going to move on to final thoughts. And I do appreciate you guys for actually sharing the panel with me. Actual King Smith, of course, you already know. Thank you so much for always being a great co-host with me. Hank, thank you. Our Pain, I appreciate you. Sean, thank you so much. Kenneth, thank you. Thank you. Trey, of course, thank you so much. Mr. He Said, I appreciate you. But we're going to get on to final thoughts and then we're going to get out of here. So we'll start with Mr. He Said. We'll work our way over, go up to Our Pain, and end with the actual King Smith.
Thank you, Precious. It's always a pleasure being here. Always fun. Shout out to my brothers. King, thank you for having me, sir. Hank, always a pleasure, sir. Arpane, Shano, Kenneth, Trey, always a pleasure, fellas. I was lucky, y'all. I was lucky. I've always, you know, chased women. It didn't work out. This young lady walked up to me. So, you know, that's what I would, you know, suggest and, you know, say to the younger fellas is take notice of the young lady that notices you. You know, the lady that approaches you, the lady that speaks to you, that lady that is interested in you. That's one of the biggest green flags that I can give you guys is she likes you. Like Precious said, you know, this lady, she likes me. She was with me when we was down. We not down no more. And I'm proud. Like I said, I stick my chest out to say I go to work for these ladies that love and respect me, that recognize what I do. And it's because she was down from day one, man. From the day she walked up to me and she offered to tie my shoe. My shoe was not tied. And she asked, she pointed it out. And I said, I don't know how to tie it. She said, "Kid, I'll help you with it." And again, just that helpful nature, that nurturing nature. And all I can do from then is just show her that she made a good pick. And that's what I've been doing. Is proving to this young lady that she walked up to me and she picked me, and all I could do is show you that, I'm down for you. And that's what it is. If y'all find somebody down for y'all young fellas, give her that grace, man. Give her that consideration and be a good man for her, man. Be a good man for yourself, more importantly, but be a good man for that lady that you choose, man. Rise her up and show her that she is, a respectable person above the people who didn't get chosen. So, I think that's our duty. Thank you for having me again, Pression. It's always a pleasure being up here with you fellas. I appreciate y'all experience and y'all sharing with me, man. Peace.
Thanks so much for being here, Mr. He-Said. Trey?
Yo, shout out to Miss She Said with the shoestring reds.
Right?
That's different right there. I ain't never heard that. Let me tie your shoe. Listen, I think the theme of the night has been two things. It's been like who likes you, and do the work in vetting these women and making sure that you are getting into a situation that's beneficial for you and for the family that you're trying to create. That's something that I'm harping on big time in 2024. As I said, my jersey is retired. I'm done with the streets in 2023. I'm actually going to start looking to settle down in 2024. This is real. I'm not trolling. I'm being honest here. Okay. So
exclusive.
So I'm very serious about the vetting process and what it takes to actually get into a serious relationship. Again, I haven't been in a serious relationship since 2019. So it's important to me, and it's important for me to explain to other guys that it's okay to take your time in this vetting process. There is no time limit. You don't have to do this within a certain amount of time. Take the amount of time that you need until you feel good and comfortable, as we used to say in the military, until you get the warm and fuzzies. I appreciate you, Precious. See y'all fellas on the next one.
Thanks so much for joining us, Trey. I appreciate you. Kenneth?
Well, tonight has been very introspective. What I got from it is that you need these checks in your life, so you got to protect your peace, stand on your square, create borders, say your affirmations and prayers. Don't settle for less and then regret it later. Stand on what you believe in, be good to people, and hope that's reciprocated to you. On that, you move forward. I'm thankful for Precious and all the brothers on here for their knowledge and their takes. And hopefully we could do this again, because this was very informative and it needs to grow and spread into the community. This type of message needs to be heard much and often. Thank you again, guys, and Precious.
Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. Sean?
Wow. Well, I'm an old man, as I just said, so I'm going to make it short. To the young brothers or those who came before me, I don't know all your ages. I'm untying my shoe because I'm an old man learning, and I'm going to start walking around like that. I'm going to start asking questions. I'm going to start asking questions and vetting. And no, seriously, I thank you all. Your perspectives were all great as usual. And I am seriously going to keep my shoe untied because I like that, Mr. He Said. And if it happens, I'm going to name myself Mr. He Said What He Said, and I listen. But other than that, y'all have a great evening. Thank you, Precious, for having us. And gentlemen, salute to you all. Have a great evening. And I'm going to stay away from women because if I don't, Hank might throw Steve Harvey at me.
Thank you, Sean. I always appreciate you for being here. Sean been rocking with me for a minute. He's been rocking with me since I've been doing my podcast back on Instagram on my other page live. So I appreciate you, Sean. Thanks so much. Arpain?
Yeah, I mean, real quick. Hey, so Trey, I hope you document your vetting process. Because if it works out, maybe you could reach some of the young guys and teach them how to do it in the modern era. It's been a good weekend for me. Getting together with the fellas in my family and seeing men starting to talk about things that are important to us without, using females as a crutch. I think if we get together and just lead the way we need to lead and be the kind of men we need to be, the women just naturally follow. It just happens. Not all of them, we don't need all of them to. We just need the ones who want to. And so that's good. You know, one thing, if I have to have a little plug, I'm working on this thing on reparations because I hear a lot of people talking about it. And I believe that tax breaks are the way we should get reparation, tax exemptions. So I'm working on something I'm going to put out soon. So just stay tuned. You know, so I got numbers and everything. You know, so anyway, we'll talk about that. Anyway,
that actually makes sense, old man.
Right,
That makes
but,
sense, old man. Look at you.
Okay, R-Pain.
I'm gonna have to I'll add you guys to the group chat. But R-Pain, if whenever you have any information or whatever, you can just drop it in the group chat.
Got it.
I'll add Trey and Kenneth to the group chat. It's just I just notify you guys when we're going live, but it's just a place where, you know, if you want to share anything with everybody, you could. I did want to ask you, R-Pain, though, before we move on to Hank. How long have you and the guys of your family been coming together to have the conversations that you're having?
I was curious
well, actually, this was our first meeting that we have, but we have family reunions on a regular basis. And so we're all connected through Facebook and all social media. Everybody has their lives. You know, we got family all over the States and international from my grandmother and grandfather. So we kind of stay in connection. But I wanted to have a Zoom where everybody gets on and say, hey, listen, this is what's going on in our lives and all that kind of stuff. And it worked out yesterday. It was the first meeting. We're planning something in 2024 to go out and take the wives and girlfriends and cousins, and we're going to go somewhere and hang out. And the fellas are going to break off and we're going to do our thing. But just on a side note that you mentioned, my niece called me up the other day, and because she just got a new job as a nurse, and she wanted me to help set her up in terms of her 401ks and, you know, savings and budgeting and all that kind of stuff. And I felt good about that because I did the same thing to my daughters, and you know, and the family is starting to get out, say, hey man, can you help me get set up? And I tell them all, listen, I'm not no certified financial planner, but I know how to get you started. Because I tell people, and I'm gonna end this on this one, Trey. I wish somebody would have told me in the 20s what I'm telling them.
Yeah.
So, you know, they don't have to wait till like they're 65.
In the 1920s?
When in my
no.
I wish somebody would have told me when I was in my 20s, man. 1920s, man. That's funny, man.
They tried to tell you that serpent when you was in the garden. He tried to tell you.
My goodness.
Well, you know what, man? Eve was one of my failures. What can I say?
But yeah, I think it's cool. I think it's cool that you're having those conversations, and I also think it's cool that, you know, your family members trust you, because a lot of family members don't have that person that they can call on to say, hey, how do I do this? Or, you know, can you help me do this? You know, credit in a Black household. I remember being younger, you know, my parents was like, don't get a whole bunch of credit cards. You don't want to, you know, but that at that time was like the extent that the conversation went, you know. So you want people in your family to be able to help you because they're your family members, you know, who the world is only going to throw you to the wolves, or, you know, they're going to try to get as much money out of you as they can. So I think it's good that you're having those conversations because, you know, those men in your family are a part of the larger community. And if you guys are having those conversations and they're going out in their sectors of the world doing whatever they're doing, at least, you know, they can refer back to that weekly or monthly or, you know, however often you guys communicate, and have that anchor. You know, you guys can be each other anchor and then be just a little bit tip-top shape and a little bit sharper for the world that you're facing. So I think that's pretty cool. I appreciate you for sharing that.
Yeah, thanks for letting me up. Hey,
thanks, R-Pain. Hank, closing final thoughts?
Yeah, I didn't know if there was going to be enough time for me to speak with R-Pain, so leave a little bit of runway. Thank you, R-Pain. Thank you for that. Look, R-Pain, let me tell you this. I'm having a show Wednesday, and we're going to be talking about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. So if you want to send your niece over there.
Or is it?
What time is your show?
7 p.m. Eastern. 7 p.m. Eastern in the basement. Yeah, tell them to talk. But my closing thoughts today, man, I don't know.
Someone's got an echo.
I just muted Kenneth. Maybe it was him. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. Well, my closed thought today, I'm gonna say it again, man, because I was so proud and glad to hear some of the brothers was taking advantage of the benefits that I make sure I share on a regular basis. So I'm gonna keep saying it because somebody else might decide they want to take care of and reap the benefits. So black men, protect yourself at all times. Do what you need to do. Either get on somebody's couch or somebody's Zoom meeting, or get with a certified amongst the brothers and have a good conversation if that's what you need to do. Do what you got to do to make sure your mental's right. Make sure your A1C and your blood work's in order. Diabetes and heart disease is the biggest killer amongst black men. So do what you got to do and get a full physical. And for men who are of a certain age, make sure you get your prostate checks and your colonoscopies. You got to do it. Colon cancer is a mother, man. And it's something that could be prevented if you catch it early. So do what you need to do. So in order to take over this world one day, you could be around as long as you can. So we need to be together, stand up. Thank you, Real Press, for having me. Thank you for allowing me to share that message. Real King, I will see you again next week, and I'm going to bust your ass again. Nothing's going to change.
Bring it, brother.
And Hank, before you go, I just want to let you know, my colonoscopy to everybody came back clear. So, again, thank you. I had it on Wednesday.
Hey, that's
Everything
right.
was clear. So I forgot to share that with y'all.
Good
news. Good news.
Good stuff.
Thank you, Hank. I appreciate you. And we're going to end here with the actual King Smith. Your final thoughts, sir?
I don't know what are the analytics of the people that watch your show, Precious, and the co-stream. I'd imagine it may be more older guys above the age of 30 and beyond. I think that there's wisdom here from all of the men here on the panel, as everybody's came from all walks of life. I share very openly that part of the reason why my marriage failed is that I didn't become the confident version of who I was until after my divorce. I had to learn some things about me, and I learned it. I'm 39, I'll be 40 this upcoming year. I would say probably things started to click for me when I was about 36, 3 years ago, fairly recent. I don't blame my ex-wife for leaving somebody who didn't know himself, right? I was married for 14 years. So for the younger men out there, it doesn't matter. I say the way I look at it is it doesn't matter what you pack in. It doesn't matter what your height is. There are some factors into trying to attract and get what it is that you want. But if you're confident in who you are, what you stand on, and you know who you are as a man, any sign language or shaming or anything that anybody tries to throw at you, it's not going to work for you, and you are going to attract somebody that is going to be like Precious was trying to say earlier, and they're going to love you for you, but you have to know who you are to be able to attract that. That's my take. I'll end on that. Thanks for having me.
Of course. I really appreciate you guys again for coming through, giving your wisdom, giving your perspectives, and just kind of setting the record straight on those mixed messages, and again giving your perspectives on the videos that I chose to show this evening. We'll be back this month. Is next Monday Christmas?
Next Monday's Christmas. Yes.
Okay. So, and then the Monday after that is the first. Yeah.
I'll be available.
Work something out.
I'll be available in case you wanted to have somebody on, because me and my lady are doing our normal live stream at 7. So
on the
I'll be
first,
around.
or
Yep.
on
both
first?
of them. On both of them.
Both of them. Yeah, I'm gonna be doing some traveling and seeing family and things throughout the holidays. So, Christmas, no, of course we're not gonna have a show on Christmas. But definitely Merry Christmas. Spend great family time with your loved ones. But on the first, I think I'll go live on the first, on that Monday. So we're gonna skip a week. Maybe I'll do like a live on Instagram or something. So if you're not following me, Real Precious Official on Instagram, and maybe we'll do a kickback or something on Instagram. But again, thank you guys. I really appreciate you. I'm gonna add Trey and Kenneth to the group chat so you guys can stay up to date on what's going on. I appreciate you guys for joining the panel. You didn't have to, but you did. So again, thank you. And you guys know what I always say: be real with yourself so you can be real with others. You guys enjoy your Monday evening and have a great Tuesday. Bye bye.